And there we are. We're here. And it feels so weird not to have that intro now, as we just said it to you guys. They're like, now what? Now where's the singing and dancing? But this isn't the Rat G TV show, even though you guys are watching us on Ryan's All Things Geek. You can be watching us on the Rat G TV YouTube channel, or of course Twitter and wherever else you might be following us. But I do say thank you for joining us for High Atop Mount Olympus with Zeus. I'm your boy Zeus, and trust me, I am high atop this mountain. And beside me, as you can see, that side, Mr. Cell Phone Wallet Keys. Please introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Cell Phone Wallet Keys. You may know me as the voice of CWK on TikTok, and as always, repping the Nerd Initiative and the Real Study.
Love it. And down to the bottom, the beautiful, right below you, my friend, the beautiful black girl Marvel. Please introduce yourself, my lady.
Hello, everybody. My name is Black Girl Marvel. A lot of people call me La, but you can call me La or Black Girl Marvel, either one. I'm cool with either one of them. You can find me everywhere on social media at Black Girl Marvel, as well as Twitch. And I also stream Twitch as Black Girl Marvel, and I am part of the Real Study podcast, which you can follow us on YouTube. And it's real, REEL. So Real Study.
A little play on words there, and I forgot to get cell
We
phone
clever. We
cell
clever.
phone there too. So there's his Instagram and his TikTok as well, if you want to follow my boy Cell Phone. And then on the bottom, of course, we save the big for last, I guess. We all bow down.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you so much, though, for joining us, Matt, my good buddy, the Storytime guy. Dude, been too long. How you doing?
Good. Honestly, it's good to be back. Happy holidays. I've got my Christmas setup getting, if you can see all that, I got my Christmas setup going.
Nice.
I'm happy to be here. I said this before, that this is you guys were the first podcast I ever been on. And, since then I've done a whole bunch of other things and everything. And I've worked with companies and done ads and, and it's really cool to be back here. Cause I feel like it's been too long. I feel like, you've been busy. I'm busy. Everyone's been busy, man. But it's great to be back here with such amazing people. You guys are wonderful. I'm excited to do what we're doing today. I was literally in the middle of making a video about this, and you're like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yes, I was ready to do this, but yes." So
now you have no choice. It's like it's on right now, on like Donkey Kong. Do the kids still say that? I don't think
I do.
Oh, I'm young. I'm young.
I'm not a kid.
It don't matter what the kids say. It don't matter what the kids say. It's fine.
That's right.
Say what you feel, man. Say what you feel.
Yeah, I'm living my truth.
No, literally, yes.
That's what I'm trying to do. So story time. Tell the folks really quick about yourself as well, if you don't mind.
So my name is Matt, the Storytime guy. I do folk tales, fairy tales, mythology, and Latino representation in pop culture. Those big three things. And whenever I can, horror. Usually that's around the Halloween season, but whenever I can, I love horror. When you're Latino and our culture tends to be with horror, most of our folktales are scary anyways. So, it's natural for me. And yeah, I'm all about Latino representation in any form, whether it's indigenous, Latinos, mestizos, so it's Afro-Latino, everything, Latino representation. The Blue Beetle poster came out today. Hype for that.
Wait, wasn't that a Transformers? No.
Yes, there was. There's Transformers: Rise of the Beast, also starring a Latino, Anthony Ramos. Right. There was, and then Blue Beetle's the first ever Latino superhero movie coming out.
Awesome.
It was supposed to be on HBO Max, but I've been told that it's actually going to go to theaters now.
Yes.
So it's a good time. We had Namor recently in Black Panther, and he Thanos Puerta stole the stone. So it was one of those for a long time, the dark periods, and then finally Latinos finally getting everything. Wednesday we got Jenna Ortega. And most of her, their family is Latino except for the mom. I always forget her name. Yeah, so it's
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, the only one that's not Latina. And so, but wonderful show. So yeah, it's a good time this month to be Latino. About a month late from Latino Heritage Month, but still a good month to be Latino.
And Homelander wants us to say his name. Well, okay, Homelander,
I refuse. I refuse.
Listen
I
here.
will say, the meme where he's like, "Yeah, let's get crazy. Let's light this candle."
I'm already afraid. Now, here's what we're going to be doing here, and why I enlisted all of you, because much like myself, you're all Marvelites. Marvelites? Yeah, we'll go with that. We all love the MCU, that's for sure. And Phase 4 has finally concluded with Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday edition. So I like you, Matt, was thinking, I wanted to do a ranking video, but unlike you, I'm lazy as fuck when it comes to doing these videos. And I've just been busy. So I figured this is a little bit easier. This is a way to put my ranking out there and also, kind of bounce it off of each of you as well while getting your rankings and kind of see.
Oh, was it supposed to be a ranking thing? Nobody told me I was supposed to rank them. I thought we were.
Do you want me to rank? I didn't get a list of ranking, but I can
geez.
tell you off the top of my head. You show me a list, and I'll.
Well, I tell you what.
Oh geez, this is gonna be on the fly.
This is
gonna. Are we just gonna
10
point it? Are we just gonna 10 point all the movies, and we'll just count it at the end to see which?
Sure,
one?
I can.
Hello, Luke. Let's say hello.
Luke is a longtime fan of our Ratchy TV page, a good Welsh boy, if you will. Watching us over from the UK. What's going on, Luke? How many scotches have you got into you right now, buddy? Oh, I'm telling you, he likes it. And that's why we love him, though. We get along so well. Let me just see here. I'm just trying to find where I posted it to somebody else. I have my rankings, and I could do that. And cell phone, you got yours or no?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I can give you my rankings right now.
Oh, am I the only one that didn't know this is a rankings thing?
Well, we're gonna. Well, hello, and to be fair, it's a few to be fair.
Yeah, this is the biggest phase yet.
So you know what? Why don't we do it like this? There are 17 different things, and cell phone and I will go first and second because we got ours, and then you guys can kind of think of yours from there. Maybe it'll help you, give you some time. And that's why I was saying earlier we'll include the specials and everything. So yes, sir. With that in mind, would you like to go first, Mr. Cell Phone? What do you got? What's in your number 17 spot?
Number 17. I have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, wow. Do tell.
So I felt like all the work that like WandaVision did for Wanda was kind of deconstructed in that film. And I also wrote on this, like, I hate to put a Sam Raimi movie dead last on any ranking, like, ever. So this really was like hard for me to do, but it was honest because I felt like that whole movie was kind of a mess, like it was fun. It was good. I didn't hate it, but out of everything, I felt like America Chavez was a great addition, but also just felt kind of like a plot device. And
I can agree with that.
I don't even want to get started on Baron Mordo. They just keep doing my boy wrong. Like
it was going to be done worse. Did you hear the rumor about what was supposed to happen?
I haven't. Ooh. What is that?
So the original opening for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Baron Mordo was going to attack Wanda, and she was going to behead him. And that was the end of Baron Mordo.
Well, dang.
Yeah, I'm glad that was the original. And if you look in the poster, you actually see his there's something it's like in a box or something, and it's like illusion because when they made the poster, that was originally part of the story. So yeah, he was supposed to get done dirty than that.
I'm glad they didn't, because I like Baron Mordo. I think he's a good villain.
I agree. He was supposed to be the next Loki.
Villain. Yeah.
All right, I posted all 17. Oh, or I guess just 12. I put it in there. Didn't put all of them in there. That's just from a message I sent somebody earlier. That's why they're not all in there. Why it's got that little beginning. So I will put the last ones in there, and I'm sure you guys can guess what they are. But with that being said, because you can see that what did you think, Black Girl? La? What did you think about Doctor Strange? Did you agree there with the cell phone?
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna do like an on the fly ranking, I would flip Doctor Strange with Love and Thunder.
Right.
So Love and Thunder would be my 17, and then like I guess my 16 would be Multiverse of Madness, because everything Key said was to me like spot on. It's like, and then it makes it worse because I've read that Sam Raimi didn't watch WandaVision. Like they gave him like pieces of the episodes to watch, and then to me that's just lazy. That's like me not reading the script and just kind of being like, I'll just read these couple parts and then I'm gonna go be amazing in this thing. And it's like, if you don't do the research, how are you going to tell like a complete story? And I agree that they kind of just they made her by not explaining the Darkhold and what that does to you as a being, especially a being with her power. it's and her like not even her power, but her mental anguish, because that's how he was able to seep in. They did a disservice to her character in Multiverse of Madness, and there were great elements to it, but to me, I'm very driven by character, and if you ruin my character, to me, the movie's ruined. So yeah, I agree with Keys.
I'm gonna shoot on the fly. I think there's also 18 films because I think we forgot I Am Groot.
No, I said we are going to leave I Am Groot out of this list.
Okay, if we're leaving out I Am Groot,
good. I didn't watch it.
Yes, it's not fair to do Groot like that in like 6 little shorts or whatever. Like,
so if that's the
8
case,
minutes.
My number 17 is going to be probably What If. I hated that show. If I'm being perfectly honest, it was silly. It was ridiculous in not the best ways. Character assassination left and right. To me, it was just like, if you're gonna do a what if with something cool. I get what they were trying to do at the end, like, oh, they're all gonna come together. Yeah. But are you trying to tell me in all the multiverses that team was the best of that's the best they could do? Killmonger with like, and then like Gamora. So they did the final episode with Gamora, but then they cut out the episode where she's introduced. And so we have this random character who's like, I can destroy the Infinity Stones. And then she goes and the tool doesn't work. And then and also Infinity Stones shouldn't work anyways, because they established in Loki that outside of your multiverse, your Infinity Stones won't work. They established it. So to me, it's like, if we're going to talk about writers not paying attention and Sam Raimi, What If is at the top of that. They didn't pay attention to nothing. Vision cuts Thanos in half with his Mind Stone. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like they're like rule of cool. No, but rule of cool has to be cool. You can't just say it. And it's like, the one thing I'll give for that Vision Thanos thing, because I heard a lot of hate for that, is Vision did the one thing Thanos told Thor to do. Oh, well, he didn't go for the head. He cut him very quickly down the middle.
Shot.
True.
Evil and people keep thinking it, and this was Ultron. This isn't Vision.
Yeah,
it's Ultron and the Vision body. Yeah. So like he is going to wield whatever Vision had in a totally different way.
Yeah,
that's,
I agree.
That's like Ronald Reagan versus Adolf Hitler. I don't know why I went with those two, but
But hey, you went for it. So that's
I don't know American politics.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's this one of those like. And then Ant-Man being evil and like it just everything I was watching. I'm like I liked the Captain Carter episode. I thought that was probably the best one, and the Doctor Strange one was good. But then it's such weird episodes. They really pushed the Marvel Zombies episode. Yeah. None of that made any sense.
Season 2, they're gonna have more zombies.
They only did that. I promise you, they only did that so that when Multiverse of Madness came out, people was like, "Oh my god, they brought in zombies!"
But they didn't zombies.
But Strange was kind of like a zombie Strange, like in a way. So I think that's why they. I didn't have a problem with What If because it was titled What If. So I just saw a lot of what ifs. I didn't kind of go into it thinking that it should make sense because it's a what if type of situation in my book. I just enjoyed it for one. Marvel doesn't make really good animations in my book. So
that's why their animation department is
not for a long time.
I'm all their animations to me are I'm like, y'all might want to talk to DC about this. But
well, this is their first one. This is the first Marvel Studios one. And
I know, but it's like I keep all of them under the same moniker because I can watch all those other ones on Disney Plus. So to me, y'all all included in this. Those look terrible, but then when What If came out, I was like, I don't mind the animation. I don't even mind how they did some stuff. I just enjoyed it because it was something different for my eyes to see from the normal. Yeah. It got a little darker, and I always wanted Marvel to just be. I don't want them to be DC dark, but there are dark elements to Marvel that I'm happy that they're kind of stepping into now in Phase 4.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and they started to dip into a lot of that in Phase 1 before Disney was on board. We messed with Tony's alcoholism. Him being him just being a man whore, we had Hulk and Natasha were about to play hide the cucumber.
Well, that was hide the zucchini.
Hide the zucchini. Is that what?
Well, also Avengers 1, he mentions that he shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Right. Right, like there, and as controversial as it was, you don't get much darker than what they did to Tasha in the Red Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
You
pretty
know what
dark.
they did to all the Black Widows. But I'm with you, Lob, with this a lot because I read the What If comics, and I was never a big fan of What If, but sometimes one would come out, and that's what I looked at every episode of this as just a what if. Just all right, we're throwing shit at the wall, and let's see.
Yeah, let's
if
see
it's
what
any
sticks,
good.
man. Like,
And some stuff, you know, like when those comics went off, like certain stuff would hit, and those what ifs would become canon at some point.
Yeah.
We saw that here too, though. Captain Carter. We see that Captain Carter became canon to the MCU.
Yeah.
Which that kind of annoyed me a little bit. Like, no offense to anybody, but this is just me. I ride hard for my Black people because if I don't, who else is going to? But it really irked me that like she showed up, like Captain Carter showed up. Don't get it twisted. In What If, she was amazing. I was like, listen, she wielded this shield better than Cap did. She's a little bit more ruthless, but it makes more sense because she's more militarized than he is. So like that makes way more sense. And then they brought her into Multiverse of Madness, and I was like, okay, that's dope. Like we could just see. Okay, I was like, we're excited. But when people was like, she need a movie and she need this, and I was like, can we get Anthony Mackie's movie first? I was like, can we calm down? Can we calm down? Because
that gets me on some
I was like so hot about that. I was just like, oh, okay. I want her to have her movie too, because we only had like what, 2 women?
Yep. 2.
And like I'm not including Wakanda Forever, but we just only had like 2 female like lead
Well,
films.
actually, yeah, Wakanda Forever.
I mean, I can, but for me that's more so like an ensemble cast.
Yeah, well, Namor's like half that movie anyway, so
you know what I mean. So it's like, to me, it's like more of an ensemble. It's still a female. It's still female led, but like it's still like an ensemble to me. Like Black Widow.
I get you.
Like,
I get you on that.
Female led Captain America, but like I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing Captain Carter, but let me get my boy Anthony Mackie first.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm right there with you. Joaquin Torres is the next Falcon, and he's Latino, and I'm
ready to see him.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm ready to see him.
Get a Black man, get a Latino man on site together. That's what I want. So
I'm right there with Captain feathers Carter. Actually on him though.
Yes.
Sorry, what?
You actually want to see real feathers on him though?
No, I don't. I hope he's got the Falcon suit. I hope they just continue with that, and he just makes it his own.
Yeah. I hope they upgrade it and make him like, because Anthony Mackie's Captain America, he doesn't look like Chris Evans Captain America, and I like that. So I want the same thing for Joaquin's character. I want him to look like Falcon but not be like Falcon. So like he has to have his own identity. So I can't wait for that too. Because when he saw those wings, man, when I watched that show, he saw the wings. I was like, y'all better do it. Y'all better do it.
Yeah. Oh, that was my disappointment in the show. I was like, where's, like, in the end, the fight? Remember the fight episode? He's like, oh, we got backup, and I'm like, what? Oh,
you're like, oh, it's not what I was looking for.
Never mind. He's just in a warehouse, like doo doo doo. Anyway, sorry. Continue on to number 16.
Whoa! Before we get 16,
oh yes,
can I get my 17? Can I play, guys? No.
No, you're not invited. Sorry.
Jeez, high atop Mount Olympus for nothing. Speaking of God-like people, my 17 was for me, and I'm sorry, I wanted to love this movie, I really did, but it was god-awfully long and god-awfully boring. I found was Celestials. I mean, and I'm not even going to get into
Eternals.
Sorry, Eternals.
I was like Celestials.
The Eternals. Sorry,
but
I was happy we got to see some Celestials in there, right?
No.
Yeah.
But to me, the Eternals, even as a comic book, was always a no. I mean, it was never anything that was relatable to. Not like, I don't know anybody who could have been relatable to any of that. Now, and I get, and I'm not talking about the diverse cast. I'm talking about the actual comic book. When the movie came out, I like what Chloe Zhao was going for in this. Okay. I just think she just, this isn't the market for it. And
I heard it in the Justice League movie.
Celestials. I did it again. The Eternals, I don't think is the right property for this. Like, honestly, and the team is just too big. And I get, we almost got a 3-hour movie out of that, and it still wasn't enough time to highlight each character and let us know, any of their real motivations. As soon as you're starting to get into one story, we're chomping all over that to get to another story, And I mean, there was a lot of predictability in it. Ajax, and I love Richard Madden as an actor, but
Mhm.
that was a really flat performance. And that tag, like the only thing I was living for, like I was holding on for that entire movie was the tag. And really, you just gave me a hint of a sword and Blade's voice.
Yeah, they
And
could
now
have
we
shown
might
him.
not
They
even
had
have
him. They
And we
had
might
him
not
for
even
sure.
have Mahershala Ali as a
Yeah.
Blade going any
Mhm.
further if shit keeps going the way it is on that movie.
Oh no,
And
they
that might not
fixed
be a
it.
bad
They fixed
thing.
it. They fixed. They had Lovecraft Country.
I
to
saw
fix it.
that, but is he happy still though? Because
Well, that's true.
Ali
He might dip.
he wasn't happy with the way things were going, and I
Yeah.
could see him stepping back. And I like him. I just don't know if I saw him as that character. You know, but,
I mean, to me, I'll say like I stand by that. The Eternals was a better Justice League movie than Justice League.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, but the bar is how high on that?
Yeah, no, that's the follow up. Is
He's like,
that's a
that's the
low
point.
bar.
He said, that's the point. You
All
know,
right,
like-
fair.
Yeah.
Fair,
So
fair,
for
high
me,
five.
it's like I love seeing the Flash, or all the thing, and I love the diversity and everything into it. But at the end of the day, it was a movie that had it was the cast was bloated, and I think the biggest problem with Marvel's movies do this sometimes is they go, "Hey, do you like this? Because guess what? The last 30 minutes is going to be building up to the future," and you're like, "No. Don't worry about the future. I don't care about the future. I care about right now. Finish this movie because you ain't going to get a second season. You ain't going to get a second movie if you don't stick the landing on this." And a lot of it was like building up to Eternals 2 when they didn't even finish Eternals 1. So now it's like in limbo of where we even bother
Should
getting an Eternals
Eternals
2.
have been a Disney Plus series,
Oh, that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
right?
I would have loved that.
And if it, and like not the typical Disney Plus 30-minute thing, like give us an hour long
Yeah, like
drama.
Yeah,
a
I
yeah,
drama.
give us 8 episodes.
agree.
The first one's introducing them. Each additional episode is like Lost, the Lost formula. Every episode is dedicated to one character, and then the last episode is them
Do you
coming
really want
together.
to go with the Lost formula with how Lost ended?
Okay,
though?
but the highlights, the good points of Lost, when Lost was at its height, not when it was at the end.
There, I love it.
I didn't mind Internals. I thought it was like visually beautiful. I thought it was like
Oh, for sure.
visually done, visually beautiful. The acting on everyone was kind of like spot on. You could tell people by their personalities, which I like, because sometimes if you can't get their names, you could be like, so and so who cracked the jokes, or like the angsty one who did the thing, and you can kind of like count a person by their personality. And I think when you can do that, they have a very solid personality that you kind of latch on to. I didn't mind this film. I thought they introduced some great stuff, but I will say I would have minded if this was in a TV show format, because it was such a big ensemble, and you decided to make I can't remember her name, but she's the one who played the lead. She played Cersei. You decided to make her like Gemma Chan. Yeah, Gemma Chan. Like, you decided to make her the focal. For me, she's not that compelling of a character. She's very subdued in like her acting, and her she never not saying that this makes a character, but like emotions make a person, and to me she never gets angry.
Yeah, which is complete opposite of the comic.
But it's not well done. It's like one of those it's like, oh, this story's about this. No, I understand the story's about that. The character's about that, but you didn't do it good enough. Like,
no, yeah, exactly. That's how I'm right there with you. I just wasn't there with you. Like, I was and so like for me, she wasn't compelling of a character. If anything, and this is just like a throw out type of thing, if they made Sprite the lead, her story is way more interesting in the sense that she's a gajillion years old, but she only presents as a child.
Yeah,
to me, that's a more interesting.
That was
story.
creepy too. There was some creepy.
There was Peter Pan, Wendy, Tinkerbell. I'm like,
it was like
there was like some Jerry Lee Lewis shit.
When she was like the person in the bar and her power flickered, and it was like I was just like.
It's a little weird in hindsight. That's why they're like, hey, we gotta fix this because we can't keep our child.
But
in hindsight, like listen to Belle Biv DeVoe again after all these years.
But it's not as bad. But it's not as bad as Twilight in the imprinting. So either way you want to slice it,
that's for sure.
This was done a little bit better than that. Also, I made my rankings as everybody was chit chatting.
I was too.
Well,
I have my number
double
16.
back here for you guys, just real quick.
So,
just because you guys already talked about it. Some of you for 17.
That's a quick,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. Number 16 for me is What If. Just and I already we talked about it enough. I don't think we really have to rehash it. I think I didn't put it here because I didn't like it. I put it here because I liked everything else better. That's
And I
on
get
top
that.
of the,
I get
on top
that.
of the list. I did it have great episodes. I think it had a couple really fun episodes, and it had some really not so good episodes. But in the end, even that ending, I kind of dug it because I knew it was leading into a season 2, and it was really neat to see what if series, and I was looking at it as issues of a comic book, have them actually connecting and have an actual connecting overall.
That was
story.
cool.
So to me, that was neat,
Yeah.
and seeing something about seeing Peter go through so much tragedy in his life. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, it makes me love that character even more. And I'm not even a Spider-Man fan. Like, I don't buy those
Shame on
comics.
you.
So. I have all the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, but I don't have any other Spider-Man comics.
I'm building my what is it right there? My Spider-Man box.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, but I give that that show was my number 16. So, and I figure we don't have to go into it too much. So, who would like to go next? What is your number 16 cell phone? We haven't heard from you in a bit.
I actually have the same at 16. What if? And like you said, I enjoyed it for the most part, actually, and I like animated shows usually. I'm glad that they got a lot of the original actors to voice act for it. But it didn't add anything to the MCU as a whole, and it did feel like they were just throwing stuff at the wall to see if it would stick. And it was just like a real like tryout process. Like, would you like this? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So
I agree to that.
Overall, that's pretty much why it's down lower.
Dig it. All right, La, what do you got for 16?
I have Loki for 16. I switched it. I know. I'm quite controversial when it comes.
Mine's
to
gonna be
Loki.
on the other end.
Yeah, I'm quite controversial when it comes to Loki.
That's fine. That's cool.
Because Love and Thunder is my 17.
You just hate Asgardians, is what you're saying.
pretty much. No, I love Asgardians. I just don't like the way that they because for me, Thor started off as like the first serious thing in Marvel, and then they took it to a joke, and that hurt my feelings a little bit because I was so excited for a more darker type of character, and especially what happened after like Infinity War and Endgame, like Thor was like at his lowest, and they made him a joke, and it was just like you could have went so many other places with this character instead of giving him these things. But like for me, in Loki, I understand that he's not our Loki, but they made him our Loki so fast and so like it was uninspired that I was just like, oh, okay. I was like,
I agree to that.
I was like, I don't know why y'all did this because you literally took the Loki from Avengers. You took that Loki. This Loki was still angry. He was still annoyed. He was still like, why are you doing this? And then you showed him videos of a future that he will never have. And then all of a sudden he's like, I need my family and I need to do stuff better and different and I'm better. And I was like, I'm not liking this. I would have liked if that progression would have happened throughout the series and not in one episode where because Loki didn't trust anybody. So you telling me that he sat here and trust this? You know what I mean? Like it was just too much. And then you lowered his character to up Sylvie's character, and you didn't have to do that.
They do that a lot this phase.
They do, but they both could have been here. Yeah. But you're telling me that Loki was getting schooled by this girl. And I understand that like maybe her training was different somewhere, or maybe she picked up something he didn't. And I understand these things because they are the same version. They're different versions of each other, so they have some stuff that the other doesn't. Whoop-de-whoop. But they put him in a diaper and was like, be in the background of your own show. And I was
he would know more magic too. He was raised up as a guardian. She didn't know any knew barely any magic when she was like 8 and then she was taken away. So
he barely used it. He barely used the magic. He didn't use any of his tricks or anything.
I hate Dagger Loki. I hate Dagger Loki. I hate when Doctor Strange does kung fu. I hate it. Use magic.
I don't even mind that he had daggers. I really don't, because you live in Asgard. Everybody got like a spear or something like that. It would make sense that he would learn something that's more close body. But it's Loki. Mix it with magic. Mix it with your.
God of
He's
trickery.
super smart. He wasn't tricking. Everybody was tricking him. I'm like, how did you get tricked this entire series? But I will say Loki was visually beautiful. The cinematography on Loki is bar none. It's very close to like Eternals, if not better than Eternals. Like they do this with me when it comes to the cinematography, how beautiful it is. But character, like I said, I'm a character person. I'm a character. I get driven by character, not so much by plot. I can let your plot slide if the characters are okay. But for me, I was just like, this ain't Loki. It ain't a Loki I want to see, if anything.
Yeah. I would have rather him do that whole like time displace, like right before the Loki died in Avengers Endgame, someone just brought him back. I would have rather done that, like, because that's the Loki we know and love. We don't want this Loki. There's no attachment to it. And then they're like, no, but it was Loki. It's the same Loki. It's like,
not because
I'd rather just take the
honestly,
ridiculousness and just give us the Loki.
Honestly, Matt, that would have been, I would have preferred that, because it would have sat better for me if he was a little bit more like, hey, we should kill people. Hey, we should do this, because we've seen his journey go through this like transformation as a character. This Loki is like the brash Loki that y'all nipped and tucked him real quick.
It's and let's be real, it's the time variance authority. There's nothing stopping them from grabbing a dead Loki, reversing time, and then going, all right, you're alive now. Yeah, and then just be like, oh, what happened? Well, we can't put you back because you're dead.
Exactly.
But while you're here, we need your help.
Or again, just build his character out. If you wanted him to be eventually be a semblance of the Loki we knew, you could have built that into the storyline that he eventually goes there. But y'all rushed it by showing him like videos of himself that don't even exist, because he's not that character.
Yeah, he wouldn't care.
Like, he wouldn't care. Come on,
we cared as an audience, but he didn't care.
No, but he didn't care. It was beautiful, the nostalgia going back, but it was
deep down, we all know the one thing that Loki, no matter what era it is, and no matter what he does to prove otherwise, he loves his brother.
Yeah, true. Whether he denies it or not,
no matter what. And then in that video,
sure.
And then those videos, and we don't. That's another thing too. Like, and I'll save a lot of this for when we do ours. But in that, it's the TVA, a place with no time. So we don't know how long he was watching those videos. He could have been in there for a literal eternity, watching those videos on rewind of his mother dying.
No. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you trying, but he wasn't. He wasn't.
I'm not accepting that.
They had things to do. They had things to do for him. With him, he wasn't. They gave him a quick glimpse, and he was just like, "Oh, my family." I was just like, "All right, bro."
I think Cell Phone and I will save ours for when we talk about it later. Matt, what do you got? What do you got coming at?
For my number 16, it's Miss Marvel. I am a fanboy of Miss Marvel comics. I had her original run. I bought it back when it was on the first run before it sold out 100 million times, because it was a wonderful issue one. I love Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is one of my favorite characters. The Avengers game where you get to play as Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
I played her, mained her, everything. Got to level 80 on it. I love her. I love the character, everything. And that's where the compliments of the show end. The actress did wonderful in it. I can't say that I enjoyed a single moment of anyone else's character in that entire thing. It did one of these like cardinal sins for me. So it's like, the world's in danger. No, we're a cinematic universe. We can't put the world in danger every single time. Like, the world can't constantly be in danger constantly. Like, oh, well, if this girl doesn't find out that the reality is going to break, the world will be destroyed. Why are the stakes so high? Why? Like, this is never the case for any originals. Like, most superheroes don't, I gotta save the world. And it's certainly not the case for Miss Marvel. You look at her original issue, not to be a purist or whatever, she fights a pigeon. That, like, a pigeon. That's the villain of Miss Marvel. And it's funny. It's cool.
Thomas Edison. Let's be fair.
Yes, it's an evil Thomas Edison who's got the head of a pigeon or a cockatoo or whatever it is. So for me, it's like that's part of her charm, teaming up and being this fangirl. If you're ever going to show a cinematic universe and have cameos, Miss Marvel's the show to do it. That is the show to do it. And like, for her being, oh, I'm Miss Marvel because I love Captain Marvel, we don't see them connect. And I get there's a whole movie of them connecting, but like, her connection to the Captain Marvel and everything that comes with that in the future, it's important. You don't just name yourself when you're a superhero after someone that you're like, oh, well, they're cool. Like, I'm going to be this. There's a connection to something. And to me, it's just the show didn't have any connection between them. It didn't give enough of, what was her name, Money? Kamala Khan's character. They wanted to say that the damage Department of Damage Control was racist, but they didn't want to say she was racist.
Yeah.
So we're in this limbo of like, she's being racist and homophobic, xenophobic, but we won't say it. Why not? What's wrong? I will give $100 to anyone in this room that can tell me the villain's name of Miss Marvel.
Proud Girl.
Exactly. No one knows. You could ask 1,000 Marvel fans. No one will recall her name. She was the worst villain we've ever got.
To be fair, I don't remember the dude's name either, though, from the DOD that gives her shit that was in Spider-Man and everything else.
But he's not the villain. She was the villain. And that's to say is that there's actually two villains. There's the villain that redeems herself, and then there's redeems herself. Yeah, right. She's a pretty terrible person.
I was
like a murdering man.
I mean, for me, her redemption is her son. Her son's, even though she dipped out on him, I was like, dang, he's gonna leave your son like that. But like for me, the redemption, she wasn't real so much the redemption. She put her redemption on her son, which is like that's terrible by itself.
Yeah. And then he was the villainous.
He was like, but he wasn't really a villain. He was just confused and lost and had this new like if somebody
kill people. So
but
like
I don't see him as a villain because it's like one of those things where it's like if I get shot up with like the super soldier serum and like I have all this power running through my body and nobody's taught me how to use it, I'm gonna freak out a little bit. And then I already have like I just found out my mama died. People are chasing me, trying to kill me. My brain might go left and I might try to kill people who's trying to kill me. So I don't see him as a villain.
You better remember this when we're talking about John Walker later.
Listen, I can go off on John Walker. He's that's not even the same. It's not 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 the same. And once we get there, I will yell at you why it's not the same.
My closing thoughts on this will be for Ms. Marvel is that to me it was a show that could have done so much stuff, and constantly I'm met with irrationalities. That's not how conventions work. That's not how that works. Constantly I'm watching the show and going, none of this is how this works. Where are you getting this idea of that this is how this works? The villain, like they want it to be like, oh, she's like the racist white girl, but actually she's nice and she's good. And it's like, are you going to talk about racism or not? Like either pick a lane and say this person's racist or they're not. Stop tiptoeing. Stop doing it. It's not as bad as like it's better than how it's worse than how Falcon and Winter Soldier handles it, but it's still not like just say they're racist. Stop tiptoeing this line. If she's racist or she's doing these things, give her a villain. And at the end of the day, Ms. Marvel gave us two crappy villains with weak reasons for what they were doing. And then the biggest sin for me was when she didn't shout Embiggen. She pulls an Avengers Assemble. She Embiggen.
Yeah,
it's your catchphrase.
To be fair, that's
I was
a Marvel
okay with
thing,
that though.
But
I
was a Marvel thing.
I don't know. I was okay with that because I feel like okay. What did that show have like 6 or 8 episodes? How many episodes did it have?
8, I think.
8 or something like that. I can't remember. I could never remember how many episodes any of these things had. I'm like because they don't give them consistent episodes. Like WandaVision will have like 8 or 9, and then like Moon Knight had 6, and then like
Hawkeye had 9, I think, or 10. And
then Falcon and Winter Soldier had like 5, and like whatever it's 5 or 6. Like so they're not like equal in this, but like I feel like there's a lot to put. Like you can put a lot in a TV show, and it can feel overly done. In my book, for me, I enjoy Miss Marvel. It might be like it's lower on the total. It's like higher, or I don't know which way. I'm going least to worst. So like it's like kind of lower for me on the totem pole because I enjoyed the film. I thought it was one, she's a child, so like it was going to have airness of having like a child's type of like TV show, which a lot of these like grown men, I'm not talking about you, man, I'm really, really not, but like a lot of these grown men that I argue with on Twitter a lot are always like, I didn't understand any of this. Why is she drawing on everything? They were like,
it's like it's a kid show. Yeah, I watch High School the Musical, the series, just to be clear. So I get it. I'm a high school teacher. I get these kids. I watch
animation. I watch all of the like teeny bopper type things.
Yeah, she was well written.
All this kind of stuff. My whole thing, I was like, one, relax, because there are actually people out there like that. I used to be her back in the day with my Lisa Frank stuff.
She's a weirdo. She was all of us. She's the outcast. Yeah.
Like, calm down. I will say I agree with you. Like, there could be, instead of just having Captain Marvel plastered up on the wall somewhere. Maybe they could have pulled a Hawkeye and show her being saved by Captain Marvel during like Endgame or something to show where she's this obsessed with. Because if we really being honest, or maybe she was reading a whole bunch of comic books created by people or something. Because if we really being honest, Captain Marvel is not even in our universe that much. Like our universe, but she's not even on Earth that much for her to be that obsessed.
Miss Marvel would have picked a different hero to be in this MCU.
No, in this MCU.
Yeah.
Black Widow would have been her favorite, or something else. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be Captain Marvel because we only seen her on Earth a couple of times, and people aren't even that privy of her. But like I enjoyed it because one, I was happy to see another culture on screen.
Yeah, okay, I said this is the most Latino thing they've ever given us up until Black Panther.
No, exactly. And I was like, so I was super excited to see that. I was super excited to get more. Like I love the background on it. It made me go research anything that can make me go research so I can get a better understanding of another person's culture.
Oh yeah,
to
the history of it
to me, that's like top tier. Yeah. For me, Marvel does this thing when they introduce characters. They go really slow. They don't give you everything that they don't give you everything that you will want in that first WAP. And I'm okay with that because I don't want the character to leave. So you don't have to give me everything because she's still figuring out her character. She's still figuring out what she needs to do. She's still figuring out that she can say embiggen and then this thing would happen. So like for me, her not yelling it out, maybe she'll yell it out in the Marvels because now she's like a little bit more in tune with her powers. Maybe she knows that this is how it triggers. It's just, I like little drops in that.
It has nothing to do with her actual powers. That's just
no, but I'm just saying, like catchphrases are like mantras. They give you like the oomph, the go, and like if that's something that she does, like maybe when she's in a battle, she'll yell it out, and it'll be like a thing that we know. So like for me, I enjoyed Miss Marvel for the fact I don't care about the villains. I never care about villains unless I need to. I don't, especially something like this because it was so literally. But like the fact that this was a film that was like her parents didn't die, she still had her family. Yeah, like she is different than any MCU character we've ever had.
Yeah,
like,
she's not filled with trauma.
She's not filled with trauma, and if it is, it's gonna be her own making because she's gonna be like kicking butt, and that's traumatic enough. But like I like that, like. I like that she doesn't name herself. I like that her name doesn't even come from Carol. I like that her name comes from her background, her family. Even it's the description of her own name. So like she's always been this. The powers just allowed her to be more
everything. Everything with Kamala Khan was wonderful. The moment you step outside of Kamala Khan, you're like, oh.
I was okay with her friends and like the issues and things like that because people do dumb stuff.
They were in the comics too, though. To be fair,
no. That's
the scene where they're shooting tennis balls at police officers. Like, like that's what I'm like. Come on, I get this but come on, this is a kid show, but come on.
But I'm okay with that too because it's like once again you're using what you're surrounded by. These are people that have been thrown into this immediately. They don't have weapons. They don't know where to get these things, and like they're using what's at their hands now. They're not grown. So like, but here's the thing. In another one, if that happens again, I'm gonna be like, okay, so we didn't learn anything from the first one. But like, you use what's on hand. You know, I didn't have a problem with that. My biggest problem was they were trying to murder these children. You understand? I was just like, you wasn't trying to stun them. You were trying to murder these children.
As a resident Gen Xer in the room, every show that I grew up with that was a kid's show, Mr. Boogedy, all that shit was all about people trying to kill us kids.
No,
right? I mean, we're done. And I'm not playing the generation game. No.
That's facts.
I'm just saying.
No, that's facts.
It's just
they always try to kill kids. But I'm just saying though, like to me, that's a better story, like a through line to a story than you being like she's trying to win the favor of the higher ups because this is why she's just be like, I don't like powered people, we got to kill these people. They don't like, if you would have stuck to that, I think it would have played
the whole time,
right? I think it would have played better. I think she should have started off maybe being like, we need to help, we need to do these things, and then eventually she'd be like, power people are ruining what I'm trying to do for the world. She should have been on some Kuvira type stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
I think they're saving that. I think they're saving that though for the X-Men when that comes along. Though.
Yeah, probably. But she might be in some capacity.
Yeah, she should be. She should be. And you know this, Matt, as well as I do. Though, even in the comic books, she was originally supposed to be a mutant, but Fox was doing so well with the X-Men movies. They're like, no, fuck that, man. We're not doing anything because I'm an X-Men fan. Like that's my comic. And they went from doing like something like 18 X-Men comics a month to like 2.
Yeah,
You
Little
know,
Blue 2.
like Wolverine
Kill
and the Green
Fantastic Four
X-Men.
outright. They outright killed it, man. It was,
Yeah.
and then
but-
and then they started doing X-Men Blue, X-Men Red, X-Men Green, X-Men Black, which was a good series.
And I love the X-Men Blue.
Agreed.
The
It's my favorite.
youngins. Anyways, let's move on because I
15.
feel like we're
We'll go faster. We'll go faster. Out
already behind. No, I'll get here.
We're getting a lot of discussion out of the way anyway.
I love it. So that brings us to number 15, and I'm sorry if this is going to get any hate from people because I know a lot of people really dug this movie.
Ooh, I'm here for it.
And I liked a lot of this movie, but there's a lot more of this movie I really didn't like. And that's Black Widow for me. And
I ain't mad at it.
here's the thing. I don't want to be the person that said, because there's a lot of people who do shit on this that are like, oh, we didn't need this movie. We know she's dead. Like, what's the point? There's no stakes involved in here. No, there were stakes involved because we didn't know what was going to happen with Yelena. Well, we knew, but we didn't know if Red Guardian was going to make it out of there. We didn't know about the mom. We didn't know what was going on with Taskmaster. There was so much potential here, and there was so much wasted potential. And I love the addition of Yelena. I loved Red Guardian. I fucking hated Taskmaster. I don't even care that they gender swapped it. Don't even care about that. I mean, they just done Taskmaster wrong. If you're going to gender swap, just keep. You don't have to change the personality of the person based on gender. Like, it could still be, this badass who's just mimicking everybody's abilities.
Have a robot cyborg.
Everybody's face, yeah. But and don't even get me started. Listen, the pheromone thing. So nobody thought of wearing a fucking mask around this guy so they could kill him? You got to break your nose to do it?
Yeah, I feel like she's smarter than that. She literally was wearing a face like Mission Impossible face swap, and I'm like, she could have put something in her nose. She could have had a fake nose. Like, there's so many things she could have done.
No, but the way that they said it in the thing is that it's even if you covered your nose, it's like it's still it's still there. It's still there. So you have to, because even if when stuff is still in your nose, you can't smell heavily, but you can still smell a little bit. So you had to because there's no other way to cut off the senses.
We're not talking about going out and getting an N95 mask. We're talking about one of the greatest super spies on the planet who has access to S.H.I.E.L.D. and also
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
The S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone now.
Don't tell me
she
that.
doesn't.
You can't tell me that the greatest spy in the world can't still sneak into S.H.I.E.L.D., into
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s
Stark,
gone now. She would have had to sneak into Avengers campus.
But she can't, because that means she would have to use resources in which she has a limited amount of those to go back to the States where she's wanted to go get something that she doesn't even know she needs until the climax, pretty much like the climax of the film. But that's a lot.
You're going to tell me Black Widow has no contacts throughout the world, this world-renowned super spy, and she doesn't have a safe house or anything like that has
no,
this technology?
I don't know.
In the movie, I'm gonna say no. In the movie,
I'm gonna say no.
That answer, and it's no. The answer is no. She doesn't have those things. No. That's the point of the movie, is that she's gone. And remember, this was after Civil War, so Tony wasn't on her side. In fact, Tony probably hated her guts for this.
Not at the end of Civil War.
No. I don't.
Remember, Tony flipped at the end of Civil War.
Everybody still got locked up, and I feel like in her mind, she's like, okay, I can't move yet until I know what the deal is. So like, even if how does she know for sure if she went to Tony that they're not watching Tony to see if she does get there? It's a lot of. I feel like.
I guess, but
if that's the case,
there's other things to care about in this movie.
But I feel like she would have never left the United States. She would have never left where she was, though.
But everything you're talking about, though, is everything we know Black Widow for being. Oh my God, that's an impenetrable thing. It's going to be watched everywhere. No one can make it in. Oh my God, Tony turns around. There's Natasha. I mean, that's. But
she's also a person that levels risk. If the risk isn't worth it, then she's not going to go do it. Because think about it, she had a safe house. She had a place where she could go and sleep. She had a place where she could do all these things. She wasn't looking to fight anybody. She was living this like little house on the prairie life, and her truck just got blew up, and she was just like, "Yo, what? I was going to go get gas." Like, what's happening?
In her defense, she planned that. She planned to break her nose and everything. At no point in that finale, or not that scene with Dreykov, was she ever not in control of the situation. So she went in there going, I gotta break my nose. This is what I'm gonna do. So while there might have been a different plan or option, the option she chose was to break her nose, and that makes her badass. It's something any super spy would do. I can see it happen in a Mission Impossible movie. So to me, it's like, I can see those, but at the end of the day, this is what the character chose, and in the end, they made the right choice. Maybe not the best choice, but they made the right choice.
To me, it's on the same
Taskmaster's not that though.
To me, it's on the same. To me, it's on the same lines of like when people be handcuffed and then they break a finger. When you know that they can pick the lock with anything that they find, and it's like, but you chose to break your finger, like because it's quote unquote
cooler. Pick the lock though. That's different though.
But most of the time, if you can break your own finger, you can pick a lock. Like you can't tell me it's one or the other. Like you know, like,
it's like Ant-Man's like, oh, I'm able to do all these like super safe things, and then he's gonna break his finger to get out of handcuffs.
It's like, what are you? Come on, guy. Like, what are you doing? To me, this movie is lower. It's a few steps lower than what you.
Same. I got a little. It's like it's higher up on the better list for me. Not much higher, but still higher. Because it's you know. It's not perfect. My only complaint. I enjoyed this movie, and I've probably watched it more than I've rewatched any other Phase 4 product.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the Red Guardian is wonderful. The family connection is wonderful. Yelena is wonderful, and Yelena showing up and everything else and really building up. They did how you build a cinematic universe. You take the main character, you give them something, but you at no point is Natasha not the main character. Yelena has time to shine. Red Guardian has time to shine. But it's never against to take away from Black Widow. So to me, this movie did everything perfectly, but the Taskmaster was egregious. I can't forgive it. So that's why it's not like on my top 10. Or it is, but barely on the top 10.
I didn't
because
mind
the Taskmaster is so egregiously
What did y'all didn't like? What did you didn't like about Taskmaster? What was it specifically?
That it was not it was Taskmaster in name.
Yeah.
And just the ability.
I'm down for being a woman. In fact, I love the twist that it's a woman that Taskmaster is actually working for us and everything. And I'm like, cool, I'm down for it. But the idea that there's a cyborg chip and that she's like a robot, and I'm like, either make her a robot or make her a person. Because the pheromones don't. I feel like if there's a microchip this big in the back of your head, I feel like pheromones in your nose are the last thing that's gonna really matter in this situation. I would have rather just have her not even have pheromones, that she just believes in the Red Room. Like, why can't we just that still wouldn't have been Taskmaster, but have her be the antithesis to Black Widow. Black Widow's like, oh, we're doing this, but like, look how many regimes we've toppled, look how many people we've saved by killing tyrants, by doing these things. Like, I would have really liked to see the point of view of someone who's on Dreykov's side, who's like the anti-hero, the person who's doing really messed up things, but to them it's the right thing, because we never got to explore that. We just see Dreykov, and so to me, I'm like, that's what I would have liked for Taskmaster. And going forward, why do I care about this character? We know nothing about her. They had no arc. They had no story. They weren't the villain. They were just the goon. It's like it was like Bane and Batman Forever.
Me personally, because I'm not in the comics. Like I'm in the comics a little bit, but I'm not heavy in the comics like you guys. Because like I like to separate what the MCU does from what the comics do. Because when you start to try to blend them like that, because all Marvel does is take the blueprint from that and be like, all right, let's shave this off and cut this off, and then add these little drips, and then we're gonna put this into the movie. To me, I didn't mind Taskmaster because I still saw it as like the essence of that comic book character. I felt like the chip in the back of the head had nothing to do with the fact that she memorized abilities, because we saw her memorizing abilities before the chip got in her head.
She was watching the TV,
I felt like she was watching to get the moves to learn the things, but also I felt like the chip was just like directives. The chips, because the chips were like a directive in her head.
Maybe,
but that's the way. That's the way I saw it. But again, to me, this movie was called Black Widow. I ain't really need much on, because to me, the movie wasn't even about Natasha. If we really I know she was the focal point, but the movie was titled Black Widow.
It was about passing the torch.
Yelena's a Black Widow. All them other chicks is Black Widow. For the most part, the mother is a Black Widow. Like, so to me, it was just an all-encompassing film. And again, I like the family aspect of it. I like the character drivenness of it, even though we know where Natasha ends up, because we all know this was supposed to come out after Civil War, but they was being stupid.
That was one of the reasons like Kurma was gone.
Yeah, and that's
they
were
being stupid. My God,
right?
that to me personally, that's the biggest part. That's the only issue I really have with this film, is that it wasn't released where it was supposed to be released. So it got. This is why people are like don't like it.
No,
because
no,
it's
no,
like
you can't.
because it's
No,
like
no,
you
no,
finished.
You can't
you
just say
finished
that's
this.
what people. That's what you might think, people. But you can't.
And that's a
Okay,
I think there's a
okay.
reason
Because
for
I've
it. I
already
You
think
know
told you
what?
my
You
difference.
know what?
Mine
You know
was
what?
completely
You know what?
different
You're
than
right.
that.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Because I already said
I'm
mine was completely
generalizing.
different.
I'm generalizing. I'm generalizing. I'm generalizing.
Like I grew up in an all-white town.
I will
I'm
say
sorry. I
this.
don't like when anybody generalizes. Say, "Oh,
I
you
said
people the same." All right.
I generalize this. Most people, which is why most people don't like this film, is because I feel like canonically it doesn't. You're
It goofs up.
you're already over this character by the time we get this movie.
Oh
if
yeah.
you
So-
were, yeah, if you were to watch the MCU and then you put this movie right after Civil War, I think you would have a really really high opinion. of the movie.
You would have
for
a you have
sure.
a
Yeah.
that's what like that's pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that like a lot of people, not all, because we won't generalize. I would say a lot of people are like, man, this movie, whatever. We already know what happens to her, but you don't pay attention to like all the other great things.
But look at
that
Andor.
are in this
Andor's
film.
wonderful. We already
Never
She
seen
hasn't
guys.
watched it though. Remember?
Oh,
Never
She
seen
hasn't
it.
watched
Never seen it.
So you haven't seen Rogue One?
No, I've seen Rogue One.
Okay, yeah. So spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Rogue One. Yes, Andor's a good show, and we
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And
The movie came out like 4 years ago.
He's gonna die. We know
Spoiler
he's
alert,
gonna
man.
die.
Come on, man. No, I'm saying.
Spoiler alert. Cell phone.
Yeah.
What's up? What do you got up next here, buddy? What's your number?
15. We're on 15. Thor: Love and Thunder down there on 15.
Really?
Like this is one of those, like I walked out of the theater, I was like, that wasn't bad. I kind of like that. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, I don't think I did. So like
Mm-hmm.
the way, and I'll tell you what it is. It's with the Asgardians, like everything those people had went through with Thanos and everything, and then they just like, made it a commodity, like a theater
We're just
attraction.
farmers now.
And like, I get where they were going, like because the kids were soft now, because now we're like a tourist attraction instead of warrior race, and this is where where we get them to. This is where gore comes in to kind of harden them again. But it really bothered me what they did with that, and also like you were saying, La, I like Thor Ragnarok a lot. I think that to me that's like that might be my favorite Thor movie. But it's like this one, like where he hit like the peak there, and he went way past it from there with the silliness and
jumped the shark.
yeah.
Definitely.
So everything else was cool. Jane Foster was amazing. Like, that was my favorite thread of that whole movie, was what was happening with Jane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that was center and front. That's what kind of boosted it up a little bit on my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it's just, I don't know. The more I thought about it, the more I thought like, this ain't working for me.
Yeah, I wish they would have kept her. Like I wish. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already, but there's gonna be a lot of those. I don't understand killing her off. I honestly don't.
Yeah,
I liked Unworthy Thor comics, and I liked the Jane Foster's whole run in the comics. So for me, I knew she was gonna die. So for me,
but in that movie though, like I thought we'd get more. Is what I'm saying.
This
I
is the
thought she would have
story
been
of Gore.
Hemsworth.
I mean, if you read the Unworthy Thor comic, that's how it ends. Gore comes, Jane comes, Jane dies, then Gore is defeated. So to me, I'm like, this is just the run. They're literally taking images out of the comic. So for me, I'm like, I read that comic, I love the comic, I know how this is gonna end. Not to say that they were gonna follow the comic, but they followed that comic outside of the multiverse shenanigans, fairly accurate. So for me, I'm like, I expected, and you got to think about this too. Natalie Portman doesn't want to do this. But they're going, here's $10 million. And so, of course, she's going to do it. And this is her way of going, okay, I can go out on my note. I can work with Taika Waititi, who I want to work with. I can make a Marvel movie. I can make a lot of money, and then I can dip out. And now that multiverse shenanigans are there, I can just come back if I want to.
But also, she's front and center. Like, I wouldn't mind coming. Because, like, if you think about it, first Thor, she was there. But she wasn't really focal. Like, she was just there to kind of like help along.
She's a side piece. She's know what I mean? She's just the girl. She's the
second one again. She gets dragged along, and it's like she got a couple of beats. Plot device. She gets a little beats where you're like, okay, she's funny. And then this one, she was like, so I get to wield a hammer. I get to fight. I get to
I gotta do all this shit. I gotta be a superhero. I gotta be cool.
I get to be a superhero. I get to put on. I get to muscle up. Oh, okay. Yeah, Love and Thunder is my 17 because that movie to me. I'm not a big fan of Ragnarok. I like the first two Thors because they were more like grounded, more of in a darker type of sense. There are elements to Ragnarok and Love and Thunder that I enjoy. There are elements. There's never a film that I'm like, the whole thing is trash. I'll never say a whole thing is trash. I'll always say that there are elements that I prefer.
You never seen White Chicks?
I like
whole-
white chicks. I
Whole
quote that
movie is amazing, Zeus. Don't make
I
me
know. I'm
jump on the
literally the
screen.
only person in the world that
Uh,
fucking hates that movie.
I love that movie.
I
Listen,
can't
love that
stand
movie.
that
Oh my god, what
movie.
happened to the sun?
Listen, that movie is a masterpiece in its own right. Okay, this is the thing. But for me, Love and Thunder, it was just I
Love and Thunder is on my top 5, so I'll give my.
It's-
I'm gonna
That's fine.
keep quiet on that one
Yeah.
for
Okay.
until I get to it.
I'm not a big fan of
Myself.
Love and Thunder. I liked like Key said, I love Jane Foster. I loved her storyline. I knew she was gonna die. I was just waiting for it.
yeah.
I was like she's gonna go out epic, and she kind of did because she went out saving these kids. Because it's like if I'm dying and I can go save somebody, and I'm dying anyway, it don't matter. Like let me go save some people. So I enjoyed that aspect of her character. Go ahead, Keys.
I feel like it did that Marvel thing too, where we had a lot going on in this movie, and really Gore should have been more. Like,
Oh my god.
he wasn't in it enough. Christian Bale was really good. Now, I wish he had been more like appearance comic accurate, but they did just fine. Like, I wasn't mad about it. I loved his home world. Like
He looked like
the black
he
and
looked like
white.
skinny. He looked like skinny
I love it.
Kratos. Is what he looked like. He looked like skinny Kratos.
But his arc was cool, and I
Mhm.
feel like it could have been even better if we had seen more of him
Yeah.
doing what he's doing.
He was on screen for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but
it
he was
wasn't enough.
amazing. But he was
Yeah.
amazing for those 20 minutes. And
Yeah.
I wanted him to, but again, it's the MCU and they never
Yeah.
make a villain a villain. I feel like
Sometimes.
I feel like Namor is the only time they made a villain, and he
Is
wasn't
he even
really.
a villain? Yeah.
He's
I mean, he's an
more like
anti-villain,
He's
yeah.
more like an anti-villain, but still though, he still has those villain traits where he could switch in a heartbeat, and I
That's
feel
him,
that.
though. That's Namor.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
Namor.
feel that.
That's Namor.
No, literally,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel that. But I didn't feel that with like. I didn't feel that with like Thanos. I didn't feel that with Killmonger. I didn't feel that with Gore. To me, like they all seem like this is my thing. Because Killmonger maybe because he didn't even change towards the end. But like
Yeah, I was gonna say Namor
but
is just
like-
a well-written.
yeah, he was
Killmonger,
he was
better.
written, like, very
I love
well.
Killmonger.
Yeah, he was written very well, but like I don't know, Love and Thunder could have been so much more to me because I felt like they weaved too many storylines together and none of them got completion. And so now you're left like empty, like, okay, so are we done with Thor? Because I'm hoping we are.
Do you want me to? I didn't sign an NDA, so I can tell you this. Someone close to me very reliably told me that Chris Hemsworth signed a 6-picture deal for
Yeah.
that.
Oh
one.
my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
Ugh.
So, and that was right after Avengers Endgame. Him and Brie Larson. Brie Larson signed a 9-picture deal. He signed a 6-picture deal. So,
Yeah. But that's standard though. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to
well,
get.
that was the biggest. They didn't even give Robert Downey Jr. that. The Brie Larson had the biggest Marvel contract of 9-picture deals, and it was because of Chris Hemsworth. So says someone who I trust very well. So,
But I mean, that could go from film to like a cameo to like a whatever.
yeah,
It
they
could
have.
be-
Yeah,
it's
there's
a-
a certain,
it's a-
there's all contracts.
It's
and
a,
stuff
like
too.
voiceover. It could be like a whole range of things. I'm just, I'm kind of.
Well, plus he said with his health though too that
Yeah,
he's
has
taking a
calmed
break.
down.
He's taking a break. Yeah.
And that he said that the next Thor movie will probably be the final movie
Yeah.
like of his arc. So
I'm
which means
cool with that.
we'll still get with him with the Avengers movies and some other tie-ins before
That's
then. But,
fine. And
Introduce
he
Beta Ray Bill.
Listen, and
It
he
was
can
weird.
and he can like cameo. I don't have a problem with anybody cameoing, but like I like that Phase 4 is moving away from what we originally was into. Like we're getting like same
Cool.
like new variations of like maybe like the same titles of character like She-Hulk and like Hawkeye and things like that. I'm cool with that. Let's progress the universe because it's more in it than what those first 10 years were. So I'm excited for
we're dealing with a lot of loss in this phase though too.
Yeah.
And trying to deal with that. All right, what do you got, La, for your 15?
15 was Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, all right.
And I already talked about that. So
Yeah. all right. We're all good on that one then. What about you, story time?
This one is coming from the heart. Werewolf by Night is my 15.
Oh, wow.
This could honestly, on a bad day for me, be number
Coming
17.
coming from the heart.
I am. This is so. It's not only personal for this, how I feel about this because of my Latino representation on the content I do, but also as a horror fan and as someone who binge watched the entire 36 Universal monster movies recently. So for me, I was coming from a place where I was like, I love horror. I just watched every single Universal monster movie. I didn't Wikipedia. I watched them. I have the entire collection. I watched them. And I'm a huge horror fan, and I'm Latino. I love werewolves, like Gal Garcia, everything. I was excited for this. And the way they treated the main character, the way they treated his Latino hair, to be clear, this movie should have been called Bloodstone. she had more dialogue and she had more screen time than the main character of Jack Russell.
True.
So, secondly, there's 2 Werewolf by Nights. There's a white one and there's a Latino one. And they chose to do a Latino actor as the white character, which is what they did with Moon Knight. And they do this half-assed, like, his face paint. They're like, oh, what's your face paint? Oh, it's to my heritage. And even as a Latino, I was like, what are you talking about, your heritage? And I was like, what face? And it's supposed to be a Day of the Dead Sugar Skull. And I'm like,
I didn't get that.
I had to research it, but that's what they did. That was a Day of the Dead Sugar Skull. And I'm like, no, it's not. Where did you get this from? That no Latino would ever half-ass a Sugar Skull, let alone a guy named Jack Russell. So for me, I'm like, y'all, you didn't change the name, and they're cool changing names. They've done it before, you know. So they have this Latino character who is playing a white character, or Latino actor playing a white character. He gets entirely sidelined by by Elsa Bloodstone, who actually has a character story in this.
She was fire.
What is his whole
awesome.
like? And then like there's just common sense things that I'm like, okay, so he claims to have killed like 200 monsters, whatever. Like, no one's gonna question this. No one does anything. No one does any Google searching on these. There's no database of like how they've defeated. Like, and 200 times, no one's caught him. Like,
and if we're being honest, she never said monsters.
Yeah,
she just said 200, like over 100 kills.
Yeah,
and when she said that, I was like, oh, he the werewolf.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
no, it was no surprise too. Like,
I was like, okay,
yeah. I didn't like it. The somewhere over the rainbow. I was like, why? What is Wonder? You know, not Wonderland. What is Oz and Dorothy? What does that have to do with werewolves and Universal and horror? Like, you could have picked good stuff. You could have had good references to Universal monster movies. We did it. They had no allusion to his being Latino. It's the most, and he says something in Spanish once, and it's the most like half-half. I'm like, God, you guys have. So for me, I was like, I was expecting so much. I was so excited for this because I'm like, look, we still don't have a Latino superhero movie in Marvel, but this is as close as we're gonna get. And then we got this, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we're just not gonna do nothing. Okay. So for me, it was personal. I realized that unbiasedly, it's probably better than how I'm treating it, but I can't do it unbiasedly because there's so many things that are personal to me that I'm like,
you're still valid in what you're saying.
You're
extremely valid because you just saying Werewolf by Midnight. I keep saying by midnight. I want to say by midnight so bad, but I just watched that today. Like I just watched it before we that was the last thing I watched. No, Guardians of the Galaxy was, but like this is like right before that I watched Werewolf by Night, and I was like, "Is he from Wakanda?" Like that's literally what I said in my reaction.
Yeah,
because I recorded a reaction, and I was like, "Is he channeling Wakanda?" I was like, "What are these markings on his face?"
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell. I've seen like Day to Dead like makeup like that before. Like it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, a Sugar Skull. Yeah, there. I got the DC Sugar Skull right there.
I've seen it before, and I was just like, I would have known what it was if that's what it was, and that's literally what it wasn't. There was aspects I liked. I liked that it was black and white, even though I was kind of like, why are you giving me these shots and it's black and white? I can't tell how beautiful things are.
Yeah,
when it's black and white, like it was nice. I was like, ooh, chandeliers and things, but it's no color. So you giving me this grand like shots. No offense to Michael Giacchino because he directed this, and I'm assuming that he had something to do with the music as well. Because why wouldn't he? But it was nice. I enjoyed that it was like a different type of monster film in the sense that like he's a monster that protects other monsters, and he's probably killing people to protect these monsters. Especially with Ted being so nice. I love that his name is Ted. I love little things like that. It's a monster. His name is Ted. I love the little things like that. I like it at the end where they're like drinking coffee. She's a badass. I will say this: the choreography for this was amazing.
Yeah. The scene where he's killing. But at the end of the day, too, it's like, why are they using stun batons against werewolves? This is a monster hunting guild. Where are their weapons? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, you guys are going to hunt the man thing. Here's a hand crossbow. What the fuck is going on with a hand crossbow against Thing? It's like he literally touches you, you turn to ash. Wait, you didn't give them machine guns? Like magic weapons?
Because that's the trial. The trial is what can you use to kill this monster to be able to get this bloodstone. To me,
I didn't mind. Failed, to be honest.
To me, that I didn't mind that because it was just like she was pretty much putting them in like in a pressure cooker and be like, what can you do to survive? Because not only do you got to outwit this monster, but you got to outwit the other ones too. You got to kill them too just to get this bloodstone. I didn't mind that. I just don't understand what we were doing with this. Like, what was the purpose of this? If it was just to give me something, if it was just to give me something to watch, then I enjoyed it for that. But if you're
Yeah.
really trying to give me something for this, I was like,
What's the point? Yeah.
What's the
At the end of
point?
the
I
movie,
was just-
what's the point? Are we going to get an Elsa Bloodstone movie? Are we going to get a Werewolf by Night? Are we going to get a Midnight Suns? What are we doing? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, Phase 5 and 6 is the multiverse. What does this have to do with the multiverse? Like,
Yeah, but I think
I
they're
feel
just,
like Phase 4 doesn't mean anything.
they're just tasting.
Agreed.
They're testing the water,
Yeah.
I think, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I personally enjoyed it. But I honestly just turned my brain off and looked at it like the old Universal movies. Because honestly, when
That's
you
how
go
I
back-
did.
though.
essentially.
You
But
know
when
what?
you go
Some
back and
movies are
watch
so
those
good
too,
though.
but some of those weren't though.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, some of them were
Yeah.
really bad. The original
Like-
Mummy was
like
really
the
bad.
original Frankenstein was great, and
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi was
Mhm.
decent in his first Dracula. But then you get into like the Creature from the Black Lagoon and shit like
That wasn't
that. And I mean, it's like Susan,
No,
Yeah.
there's some bad. There are
there's
the
no,
Mummy
you don't have the
franchise.
Mary
is good in
Shelley
there.
to it, It like you've only got like out of all of those, there's only one Bram Stoker and one Mary Shelley out of all those
Mhm.
legendary monster movies, and the rest were all and as a Marvel fan, I'm sorry, but they were all just basically like Marvel, they're
Yeah,
they're
no, it was
there
their
for
team-up movies was the end
entertainment
of it. Yeah.
only, and
Mhm.
if you get a good story out of them, I that's how I've always looked at Marvel, because they're always about heart and about family. I'm a Disney kid growing up through and through,
Same.
and so for me, like I grew up on movies like Pollyanna, and I love like I'm not a big Superman fan, but I love that idea. I love the Captain America. I love people who do the right thing, and I
Yeah.
love family shows. That's why I love Ms. Marvel and stuff like this. Yeah, I know isn't the same way, but Werewolf by Night,
Yeah.
I found it really just kind of fun. But I didn't have the personal attachments quite like
Right.
Matt.
No, agree.
And I
Agree.
did-
Agree.
but I don't mean it.
Mhm.
I like Matt. Like honestly, it's more ignorance on my side because I don't know. So to me, I'm just
Same.
like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
that's cool.
No,
That's
no,
like,
no. Yeah.
yeah. So, but
Yeah.
that's why I have it a little bit higher.
Yeah, I 100% agreed it from like a sit back and watch it type of standpoint. But I love that Matt's here to be like, well, this doesn't fit and this doesn't work, because now if I
Yeah.
go back and watch this, or now if I see something else, I'm gonna be like, he just talked about this, he just did
Yep.
this. So I like having that dialogue. I like having that, because like I barely know much about my own culture. To be honest, I just know what I know.
Well,
So
that's
when
because they don't tell us enough about it.
Yeah.
that's
like-
a whole different discussion.
Yo,
But I'm just saying,
try going up in Canada. Try going up in Canada. It's a lot different, especially
no
in the White City.
gracias. No gracias.
No
offense.
It's beautiful here. It's beautiful.
No offense. Listen, I've been there before, because I'm not too far. I can cross the border. I ain't got a
Okay.
problem going to Canada. I've been there before. It's been lovely. I've never had anybody rude or anything.
Oh,
You know, I mean, I didn't meet you. I didn't meet you when I was there though. So you
Oh,
know,
God.
Oh, harsh.
Ah,
I
Shots
didn't meet
fired.
you.
ah.
No, I had to, man. That's how I show I care. That's how I show I care. That's all.
Good. I love it. I love it. You fit right in. You fit right in. All right, let's move on. Where did we leave off? That was 15 for
14.
Matt. So 14 for me. Yeah, this is me with Thor Love and Thunder. I mean, we've all talked this to death, kind of. I mean, we've talked about all the negatives. My only negative, really, like, I mean, there was a few, but gore, I wasn't a big fan of how they. The only reason why I didn't really like gore so much, I love Christian Bale's performance. I didn't like the fact that Gore the God Butcher killed only one god.
Right.
It's like
Agreed.
Gore
He
the
should've
God
killed- I thought
Lucky
he was going to show up to what do they call that place?
the not Olympus, but where all the gods live or hang
Yeah,
out.
because they're like, he's killing dozens of them. Show it. Show it. Show it. I want to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that I had issues with. I
Sir.
didn't like
Nail
at the
head,
time.
okay?
I had fun with this movie. I watched it and I tried to turn my brain off because I knew just from the trailers that we watched that Taika
Same.
was going full in, and I'm like,
Same.
oh yeah, he don't even give a fuck now. He's just, he's
Same.
just like, I'm doing whatever I want, and Chris Hemsworth is buying everything I'm saying. So let's do it. And he was. I mean, the first time the goats came out, that was funny as fuck. By the third time, I was like, somebody shoot them.
Yes.
I'm a vegan, and
No,
I'm
I
like, shoot
agree.
those motherfuckers.
I agree.
Like seriously. So, but aside from that, like,
I agree.
we've kind of talked it to death. So that's why it was there on my list. I did enjoy some parts of it. The kids getting the Thor powers. that was a little corny, but I gotta admit, I chuckled when he was like, for a limited time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and they did my boy
Yeah.
Zeus so wrong, and I love Russell Crowe. I love the tag.
He's still alive.
I wish
He all right.
I wish did you see the tag in the movie with Russell Crowe and the
Yeah.
guy that plays Hercules? If the tone of the movie was that tone,
My God.
that movie may have been the best movie of all Phase 4.
That's what we're gonna
It
get
was-
in
it was-
phase 5 or 6. Thor's
was-
gonna die.
Yeah,
I can't
right.
wait, man.
He's
Ugh,
going to
I
Valhalla.
can't
I
wait.
am 100% convinced Hercules is gonna kill him, and he's going to half the movie is gonna be Hercules ruling the gods and Thor getting out of Valhalla. I'm
can't
100%
wait.
convinced. that's what's
Legit,
gonna
before I even read comic books, when I was a little kid, my thing was I read Robin Hood books and I read Greek mythology and a lot of Norse mythology, but mostly Greek mythology. And Hercules was my fucking jam.
Yeah, I love Hercules.
And then when Hercules came in the comic books, and they made him relatively a lot like he is in the mythology. He's a bumbling oof, but who just drinks and sleeps with whatever's beside him, man, woman, animal. It don't matter. He was 2022 before 2022 was. I mean, like. So I for real, I just think that movie. And Matt, if that's what we're getting moving forward.
Yeah, the tone. Honestly, the tone needs to shift. Like Taika has this tendency to bring in like whimsy or fake. You know, I'm not gonna call it fake because to him it's probably like extremely genuine. But for me, I don't like it. It comes off as like as fake or forced or pushed. He has his way about it. Like
he's having
even
too
like
much fun.
He's having too much fun. Like even with like Jojo Rabbit, like it was just like we talking about Nazis and it's like skipping through the yards and doing these things. I was just like, okay, sir. Even though that was still a good movie, I still enjoyed the film, but it was still like we was like, this is a hot take, you know,
I had a hard time
on a thing in a hard time, you know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. But you man, you just nailed it, Zeus. I can't.
Thank you. Well, so cell phone, you got a lot to follow up on there. Then. What's your 14, brother?
14. I'm talking about Eternals. You guys have already kind of went over that a little bit earlier. I like getting expansion into the cosmic universe, although we didn't get like a ton. I wish we could have got a little more. I enjoy, the history side of it. That was a lot of fun. Like we said, though, there was too large of a cast. I'm a big fan of the Black Knight in the comics, so I was kind of glad to see them introduce that, and I'm excited for more of that. I hope we get some more of that. I know, like we saw with that tag, like you said, it was just very short and nothing to it, but I would like more. With Deviants and you talked about it earlier, being a big X-Men fan, and so am I, and their connection's pretty strong, and we don't have the X-Men yet. It kind of took away what the Eternals could be, but I know they couldn't really do anything about it at the time, so I'm not going to hold them too hostage on that. So, good movie. I enjoyed it. Too much going, too many characters, too many performances. It just didn't work, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Do you read the comics too right now?
Not the Eternals.
No, the X-Men.
Oh yeah, I
So
X-Men.
have you seen like that like the Axe right now? AXE?
Yeah, the Judgment. Yeah.
So like mutants or deviants?
Yeah, they've always been deviants, but
they haven't been. Is that why we got the Eternals? So that they could say that deviants are X-Men and they've been there the entire time?
I don't think they are.
Mutants?
I don't think they figured that out that far in advance.
And also,
no, I know, but I'm wondering if the MCU figured that out and they said, "Hey, listen, Marvel, we want to plant some seeds and we want to make it so that
I'm not.
We want to sell
Celestial.
We want to sell Eternal tickets."
I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, it's a possibility. Because,
maybe it's possible. Kevin Feige's in charge of Marvel Comics. It's a perfect. It's entirely likely.
I don't want to get too off subject, but I kind of feel like where they were going in Wakanda Forever with Namor and the plants. Yeah, I kind of feel we're going to go that way. I don't know for sure. This is just theories, but I think we're going more that way of where mutants come from, since they were all technically mutants.
Mutants, yeah.
No. Only Namor was a mutant.
Namor, right? But we'll see more people born that ingested maybe something
I feel like
I think it's Kree as well.
Yeah,
especially after Ms. Marvel and seeing how the Bangos would react, and they were all kind of blue skin and stuff.
And Captain Marvel connected to it, and Inhumans and blue skin and everything.
Like, I think we're going to get the Kree Skrull War. I think that's what the Skrull invasion is really going to be more about than anything.
Right.
Which
or
is
Secret Invasion,
making me
I should
wonder,
say.
why are we doing multiverse if we're going to lead up to a Kree, a
We're
Kree
done
Skrull War?
multiverse, though, right? Like that. This was the multiverse saga.
No, well, that's what the King saga is.
Oh, true. That's true. Shit. Yeah.
I'm excited.
I feel
It can
like
go.
we're jumping the gun on King.
I feel like
King
because
needs to come later.
it's a multiverse, man. We can go
Or
in
maybe
all type of
they're using the
ways.
multiverse to build up, so when we have the Kree Skrull
Probably.
war, it's not like it's more personal stuff on the line and less like
Oh, right. But when
fantastical.
is Secret Wars, though? Because
Wars is
Secret
next year.
Wars would make more sense with the
Yeah.
multiverse.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
Secret Wars Avengers. Yeah, that's coming in 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
I think they're all gonna bleed.
I was
They're
thinking
gonna
of Secret
bleed into each
Invasion.
other.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion's coming
Oh,
next
fair,
year.
fair. Yeah.
They're
Secret
all,
Invasion.
they're gonna bleed. They're gonna bleed and weave into each other.
Yeah.
So we'll see
Oh, yeah.
how that goes.
Nice. All right, La, what do you got?
For what number? I'm sorry.
14.
14.
14. For me, 14 was Moon Knight because I haven't finished it. But I'm on the last episode, but and 13 for me is Werewolf by Night because I finished it. I watched it. But Moon Knight is 14. Okay, as a person who doesn't have dissociative identity disorder or know anyone that has it, I don't know the ins and outs of it. So like I went into this film just kind of like I went into this TV show just like kind of like enjoying it. I enjoy what Oscar brought to this. I enjoyed what he did. I enjoyed that he was very vocal in being like I forget their names because I haven't watched it. I haven't finished last night, but like he made it specific to have a different accent for the characters, for each
I'm
character,
about
so
to
he
spoil
could.
this for you, by the
So
way.
he,
But
no, that's fine. I already talked about it before you popped on. I was like, if you spoil it, I'm a visual person. If I have to see it, I'm like, that's cool. That happened. I can't wait to watch it. Like that's my brain.
okay,
So you're good. But I enjoyed Moon Knight. I thought it was great. I thought like I personally enjoyed it when he was Moon Knight more than he was himself. So I would have liked more showings of like Moon Knight, the character. I like the build up. Again, I like character stuff, but he's also a character. I would have liked a little bit more of him as well. Again, visuals were nice. I don't personally like the girl. I know that she becomes like a superhero in her own right, like in the finale or whatever at the end. But like, I liked her for a moment, but for a nice chunk of it, she seems like she just gets in the way, and things would have turned out differently if she just wasn't.
The show goes on.
Oh Lord, no! Tell me, Matt. God,
she has half of the finale is dedicated to her.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's so Moon Knight's also my 14. If you don't mind me jumping on this, because. The Latino representation is because I can do a whole rant about that.
We 14 buds, but go ahead.
To me it's like so what bothered me as a Latino watching this is that they refuse to say he's Latino.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what bothers me, because when Marvel Studio does something, they don't do something quietly. When they had a gay character in Eternals, that was very loud and they were very proud of it. When they were doing Black Panther, when they were doing Shang-Chi, when they were doing Captain Marvel, very loud and proud that these are the female, Black, Asian, whatever. And yet, when we get Moon Knight, their first Latino, because Oscar Isaac is Latino, didn't say a word. I even followed all the writers and directors on Twitter, and they were doing like, Q&A. And then we get like 10 tweets. And I would tweet, is he Latino? And they would answer all the tweets. They wouldn't answer mine. And I'm like, why are you guys so adversive to just saying this character is Latino? Because you guys, it seems like you guys want your cake and to eat it too. Like, this is so, for me, I'm upset about that he at no point acknowledges his Latino heritage. And some people will go, oh, well, the end credit scene. Yeah, well, but then, like, because in the end credit scene, he speaks Spanish.
Right.
Boo.
But that's because he has a third personality.
Boo. We can do this throughout the whole thing.
And, well, the thing is, too, to counteract that, he's speaking in a British accent for 10 episodes. So, like, what's that about then? And there's just little things, too, that you can show that the people didn't have any idea what they were doing. Like, there's a scene where his family's growing up and they're barbecuing and the mother's the one barbecuing. And I'm like, no. In no Latino family on this planet will the woman ever barbecue. That is something the fathers do exclusively. It's their thing. Men don't cook usually, but they barbecue.
No, they do barbecue. That's like in my family. My dad,
exactly,
he barbecued. Like my mom didn't barbecue. She prepared the stuff that needed to be barbecued. And then she handed it to him, and then he barbecued. Like that was the whole thing.
Barbecue is
my question is, are they trying to dissociate his heritage due to his dissociative identity?
It's
because
not,
wouldn't all of them be Latino? Like I just
exactly. That's the thing too, is the reasoning for it, like the in-universe reasoning. There's no reason for him to only speak Spanish, And also, just as a side note, the most violent and mean personality is the Latino one. It's
No,
the
yeah.
And another note is
Jake?
that what?
Yeah,
Jake?
Jake, yeah.
I thought he was
Jake.
French. I thought he was French.
No, well, you're okay. So I'll jump to the comics of why I also don't like this. So, so in the show, yeah. So but that was Oscar Isaac. He said, "Hey, can I speak Spanish for this final scene?" That was not written. He was not written to speak Spanish. It was Oscar Isaac saying, like, "Yo, I should probably bring my own heritage to this because he's executive producer." And it upsets me as a Latino that he took that long to realize that he should bring his culture into this. Because you look at the showrunner who was like, "I'm Egyptian. I'm proud of Egyptian heritage. Wonder Woman for how it's treating, Wonder Woman 82 how it treated Egyptians." And he's like, "I'm going to introduce the Scarlet Scarab because she's an Egyptian and she's going to be a superhero." And then he ends up giving the show to her. And she saves Moon Knight. She does all of these things, and it's like, oh, we're in this like girl boss moment, like the most like disingenuous, like, thank goodness the woman's here to save the man. I'm like, why? This is his show. Let him shine.
Or they could have just teamed up.
Yeah, and she's
it always got to be
constantly.
one or the other. It could just like this is why like I gotta get off Twitter most of the time because like
Elon wasn't enough of a reason.
Come on, like it wasn't. No, it's the other people that's like really annoying me because it's just like one of those things where it's like it doesn't have to be. People live in this thing in their mind where it has to be one or the other. Yeah. Either the man got to say the woman or the woman got to say the man. Why can't we work together?
Yeah, or switch off. The man can save the woman can save the man. Writing these characters as though their gender, like it's important, but it doesn't matter. Their gender
don't matter because a man could have played her part.
Yeah,
and a female could have been Moon Knight. Like if you write characters like genderless,
and it would have been good, but that's not how they wrote it.
But that's not how they wrote it.
So it's there's just stuff like that bothered me. That like it felt like Loki, like he gets sidelined in his own show, and this felt like that. But for me, Moon Knight was even worse. And then you bring up the Latino heritage, that they ignore all of the Latino heritage to him and his character. And the final big sin for me, and honestly, I'm surprised I didn't put this even lower on my list, was how far from the comics Moon Knight is. If you guys have read the Moon Knight comics,
that's all of them almost.
But like, Moon Knight especially,
when it comes to the
bad.
At least when it comes to the titles.
Yeah, it's Moon Knight is
nothing like the comic book.
Yeah, fair point. But to me, it's like
two warring teams of heroes, but that was about it. There was no school massacred because of Nitro and Speedball.
True.
Like
fair point. He is far different. But for me, I was like, oh, we're gonna get a Latino actor, a Latino character. True. He's gonna be a rich man. He's gonna be a badass, and instead we get the guy talking in a British accent at the time. And the final sin for me is that like Oscar Isaac has a history of he's played more white characters than he's played Latino characters. Yeah. He changed his name to Oscar Isaac so he could get less, more roles as white characters. Because his name is not Oscar Isaac. It's not. It's not. And so for me, it's like when you have, he played Apocalypse. He played an Egyptian in the freaking
I think his middle name is like Oscar.
It's Oscar Isaac Gutierrez, I think.
Yeah, his middle name is like Oscar Isaac or something like that.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like you take all of this history of this actor who I love, Oscar Isaac, and he is. I stand by the best acting performance we've ever gotten in a Marvel anything. But yeah, to me, that's why.
But I feel like because his name is Oscar Isaac, like let's really be honest. Oscar Isaac don't sound white to me. It don't sound
but neither does Charlie.
It doesn't sound Latino though.
No.
Neither does Charlie Sheen or Martin Sheen, and they're both.
You know what I mean? No, and they're both, but they are white presenting. They don't look like they're an Estevez or however you want to slice it.
Yeah,
and to me, Oscar Isaac, for the most part, he's very ambiguous looking. He could be any race that you want him to be.
Trust me, I make videos and people are like, he's Latino? I thought he was this.
Exactly. And that's where that's like where his bread and butter is, because I notice in a lot of the things that he does, his heritage isn't even a thing. Isn't even a thing.
Yeah, I kind of dig that about him, to be honest.
No. I do dig that about him. But again, on Matt's part, like in his point, like in this particular
when there's no
series,
Latino superheroes and we get
in this particular series, we could have built him up. Like, I'm not saying in Dune they should have been like, but he's a Latino. Like, I'm not saying like he should have did that. Yeah. But like this is Marvel. This is the MCU. They love to push an envelope. They love to do these things. Like this is Disney as well, and Disney is trying to get out of the racial hole that they dug themselves into a long time ago. So like you should have put him up front as like the first Latino, like, and then add that into his character. And even if you didn't want to have that for every single one of his iterations, the main character, you could have made it so that he was, because he called his mom all the time, even though she didn't exist, but like however they want to slice it, but like he did these things where it's like that's like heritage, that's cultural, that's generational, and like just a drop of that would have probably just tighten the series up a
even
little
one
more.
hint that he's Latino would have been
Yeah.
nice. If they were eating
Yeah.
tacos, I'm like, he's Latino, it's done. He's eating tacos, it's done. You know, but like
guess
they
I'm
did
Latino
bring a
out here,
shish
you feel me?
kebab too. I was like,
Yeah.
come on, guys, ain't no Mexican in the history of the world ever barbecued a shish kebab.
All right, on that one we got to move ahead. Just because I got to try to be out of here by 5:30, believe it or not.
Yes, sorry,
And
feel
we'll
we're
rush.
running out of
Let's see,
time,
rush.
so
Yeah, we'll go
we'll
through 'em,
crush
sorry.
a lot of these. No, it's okay, guys. I like this. I should have, and I knew I should have put like 3 hours aside for this as well, at least. 'Cause
Okay,
it's,
so if we go over, it's all Zeus's fault. Continue. Yes.
it is.
Well,
Just
oh,
tell my
give it the
daughter
three
that
sentences,
when
three
when I'm like to
sentences.
pick her up from work.
Oh, okay.
She's 18 and an 18
So
proud
pick me up.
black sister. So
Pick me up from work. I don't
Yeah.
feel like driving.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm still proud. I'm still black. I'm still a cis, but I don't feel like driving after work.
I'm saying, like she will whoop her daddy's ass. She's that girl.
I feel on that. That's me all day.
threatens me.
Continue.
Yeah.
Her nails are this long.
Yep. Round. Quit playing.
I ain't kidding. All right, so number 13. And you guys touched on this, or La, you had this earlier on, and I went with Doctor Strange. Now, the only reason why I went with Multiverse of Madness so high on my list, or not lower, like ranked closer to 17, is because as a comic book fan, this gave me so much joy watching it in the theater the first time, just for all the little nods we got to different stuff that I've wanted to see. They gave the fans. Kevin Feige literally was like, you know what? You guys have not shut up about John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Mhm.
Here you fucking go. Then I'm gonna kill him.
Got bodied in 2 seconds.
He got bodied.
As he should, though. As he should.
Got
it's
bodied.
okay.
He wasn't that smart though. But go ahead.
To me, that was not the real Illuminati, anyways. That was not the 616 Illuminati. So I'm all right with that. I feel like there could be a John Krasinski, Reed Richard, and a smarter Illuminati.
Lord,
in the
please,
616,
please,
'cause this
because they was dumb.
dumbass.
They was dumb.
They were dumb.
They was dumb.
So I just want to say real quick about Doctor Strange. I think there's this disconnect. So you have to remember, they're viewing Wanda like from Age of Ultron Wanda. That's what they think Wanda can do. So
Yeah.
when you put Wanda, you're like, hey, this
Oh,
is who
of
they
course.
think they're fighting.
She's
Of
just
course, they're not going
telekinetic.
to take her seriously.
Yeah.
She can. It takes forever
That
for her to
makes-
stop a train.
That makes no sense if you're the Illuminati and that's your whole thing is to protect the universe, and you think that
Not the
You
universe.
didn't-
Their reality.
well, their
Yeah,
reality,
their
but
reality,
but still though, this super powered individual not only popped up in your reality, but then she started murking all y'all little Ultron robots, and y'all was still like, you gotta keep them in chains.
Yeah.
What's
You
hubris?
gotta-
It's
you gotta
hubris,
keep
though.
it-
That's what I love.
I
though.
was
It's
like-
hubris, though, that they
and-
think that they're like, we don't have to worry about that. Like, we don't. No big deal. Look
That's
at
dumb.
Baron. That's his whole character's hubris. That he doesn't.
That's-
he has-
Yeah.
But that's
that is
crazy
his-
to me that
that's
you can't.
Dr.
You telling me
Strange,
that this what's his name, Professor X? You telling me that he can't reach out through the multiverse and realize that she's different? I was
And
like,
that's
what are we?
what-
I don't
not
think he
even
could.
that.
I don't think she would let
What
him.
killed me about the Professor X thing is the second he's in her brain, he doesn't shut her off.
I don't think he could.
He could though. He totally
She
could.
controls reality. If mind, if she doesn't.
Right,
She could
but-
turn her brain into crystals for all heat. Like it's.
Yeah.
But he,
I
but
mean,
he
you get her
didn't. But she
before she
didn't
does.
though.
I
He
think
tried
like,
to save her, but he just wasn't quick enough. Poor
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. It's
well,
it's
he was
hubris.
trying to talk to her and
Yeah.
do the Charles Xavier thing and
Do the right thing. She's like, okay, do the right thing. You'll be dead.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So for me, I understand.
just
To me, I'm
pull
like-
her out the rubble, bro. Put off the, and then it was like not even that. He looking around all slow, going through the door. I'm
In
like, you
their
can walk, bro.
defense-
You better pep it up and go get this girl out this house.
In their defense, it only took 5 of them to kill Thanos.
Right.
Granted, they had to use the Book of Watum or the Book of Watum or whatever, but they still took 5 of them to kill Thanos.
Yeah.
To them,
Well-
they're like, "Who's? I'm sorry, we're scared of the girl that waves her hand and can like do illusions." Yeah, we.
But
took
here's the
out
thing,
Thanos,
though.
like-
If they
they
would
did
have
kill
if they
Thanos.
would have added
What?
that to their characters, I understand the characters are already filled with hubris because they're like Doctor
they should
Strange
have
is the
mentioned. They
worst
should have
thing.
made it clear.
But if
with the
they
hubris.
should have,
made it
there
very
should have
clear.
been something, which is because like my thing is this. Okay, when he said like, "Yo, Wanda's coming," like we need to like
Yeah.
have some
They're
defenses.
laughing.
I understand that part. To me, that part was like solid. They're like,
Yeah.
"Come on, bro, you the worst thing that we had to deal with because throughout the
You
multiverse,
destroyed reality. Yeah.
you destroy reality. Like your characters be doing the worst throughout the
Yeah.
multiverse. So we're not gonna like believe you. But the moment your sensors show that this chick popped up, maybe you could believe this. You know what I mean? It was just like y'all
Well,
still
they
was
shot
on
like,
this
Black
like.
Bolt can kill you, and
The
because
one thing
up until that point,
That's how you know that Reed Richards was stupid, because he was like, with the sound of his voice, why would you tell him the power? Why would you tell him the powers? She doesn't know.
It's hubris.
She doesn't know,
and he
sir.
didn't.
That's his weakness. Yeah.
And he didn't know what she could do. And yes, Reed Richards is as
He's
smart
very
as he is. His
egotistical,
hubris is what takes him down.
Listen,
all
he
the time.
mentioned his children. I'm like, bring them in so they can win this fight, because I was like,
Oh
this
my
is
God! If Franklin
terrible.
was there, that fight's over in 2 seconds.
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
the thing
Bring
too,
the
is
kids
you
in.
have to remember too, is that they're building up, at least in my opinion, they're building up for the 8-6 or 8-3-8 to come back. I have if we're doing a Secret Wars, if we're doing multiverse, I can guarantee you they hate the 616. As far as they're concerned, that Doctor Strange and that one that came to the reality killed all of their leaders of all of their mega teams and then dipped.
Yeah.
So as far as I can see it, they're building up to have the 8-3-8 fight.
But if that's the
616.
case, then I need there to be a Batman in it, so people can be detectives to figure out what's really going on.
Well,
Because
hey, after the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday, we know there is a Batman.
No, exactly. Well,
and a Superman and Eternals reference.
But to me, that's lazy writing. I don't like lazy writing like that, because to me, it's lazy writing just to be like, well, we showed up and it was destroyed and the only people left was these two. It's like, no, let's like do some research. If she can, if this chick, if what's her name that Rachel McAdams played? I can't remember her name, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Christine Palmer.
Christine, yeah. If she could literally name the universes,
yeah.
But didn't she
y'all
say
telling
that
me y'all
Doctor
can't
Strange
figure out?
named them? She said her Doctor Strange named them, didn't she?
Well, but I don't know. I swear she said she
I
named
think
them.
it's not like they can go into other realities, because they intentionally won't go into other realities. That's the big point of the movie.
But it's like, but somehow you know how to monitor other universes.
To an extent, I think, yeah.
But you do, because they got named. You can tell when other people aren't from your universe. All these type of things. I just need to be better writing, tighter writing. That's
agreed. I think that the writing needed to be tighter. At the same time, I also think going forward, to me, I'm excited because I was watching this going, I cannot wait for a vengeful Sue Storm to go after the 616.
Oh yeah,
Sue is dangerous.
Yeah.
She is absolutely a monster.
Now,
you have to think about the X-Men plus Professor X.
That's something I would love to
watch. They did the Illuminati dirty for sure.
Yeah, we think about this, like we think about Age of Ultron. Like in hindsight, though, because
I
of
love
Avengers
that movie.
Endgame, Age of Ultron got better, but at the time, it didn't do that good because they're building up too much. But half this stuff, we got to do the payoffs. So I'm hoping, I could be wrong, but I'm hoping that it was a payoff movie, that Doctor Strange is going to be bad.
That's what I feel Phase 4 is. I feel Phase 4, everything we've seen in Phase 4 is build up to other, to not even Phase 5, probably even Phase 6. Like I think it's going to bleed through the other phases. We won't even know the relevance of Werewolf by Night probably until Phase 6.
Don't forget his bands, his bracelets.
No, literally, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like my man from Eternals made those. But
well, let's get into more of those.
Yeah, sorry.
We're going to talk about those soon, anyways, because we were going to get to Shang-Chi as well.
Also, real quick though, before we move on, I just want to say about, because I didn't really get to say this about Multiverse of Madness. I'm always excited when we see people of color on screen, and I was super excited when we were going to get America Chavez. I was like, I'm so happy about that, but I'm so disappointed that they did not make her Afro-Latina. And
that character's a mess, though. I'm going to tell you right now, that character's not even Latino up until recently when they retconned her.
Yeah. No, I like the retcon, but the
retcon was wonderful.
No, I needed because we have. Like it's so many fair skinned people in the MCU. I was super excited.
Latinos. The Latinos we have are all fair skinned, and the first dark skinned Latino is Namor, the villain.
No, literally, and so to me, I was super excited when they were saying that this was the version of America Chavez we were going to get, and then we got a fair skinned version of her.
They still don't know she's Puerto Rican, by the way. Well, she's technically not, but she technically is. They put a Day of the Dead sugar skull on her jacket.
And I was just
awkward.
And I was just like, the actresses, and that's what the MCU does that I don't like most of the time, is that and it may be nice for some people, because I know for Lupita Nyong'o it was nice that she was able to speak Spanish in this film, because she does have like Mexican heritage. She said that she was raised in Mexico City. Like, like I love that, but also it's like one of those things where it's like you start to blend the character with the actor, and I don't like that, because that's how we got this type of Thor, because they found out that Chris Hemsworth can hold a joke. Yeah. And they were like, oh, Thor gonna be funny forever. And it's like, that's that ain't Thor though. That's not what I wanted from Thor. Like,
I can see that. Yeah.
so I really, in Multiverse, I was really excited to see like an Afro Latina, because we don't see Afro Latinas like pretty much ever anywhere.
And we're not. And with White Tiger, we're getting likely Jenna Ortega.
No,
who, while
for
she
sure.
is half Puerto Rican, she's not an Afro Latina.
I still want an Afro
Granted,
Latina.
White Tiger's not an Afro Latina, really, but you know.
No, but
all right, we got to move on. We got to move on.
Yeah,
I really got to pick up my kids soon. So I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, so what you got number 13 next there, cell phone? What's up, buddy? What do you got?
13, Moon Knight. We talked about a little earlier. Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac act their asses off. I wish, like La said, more Moon Knight. I didn't get enough Moon Knight or Mr. Knight, who I love.
I love Mr. Knight. Yeah,
but again, really not in line with the comics a whole lot as far as the character. But I did still enjoy it. I still had a good time. I liked the designs, and overall, the story was pretty cool.
I love Ethan Hawke, honestly. I thought he did a great job for a guy who was so anti comic book movies. Before.
They always come back around, don't they?
Yeah, well, with the right amount of money, anybody does.
No, they always. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like the discourse, because you always come back around for the right pay tag. You always come back around.
That's right. Well, that's like someone can't. I auditioned for a McDonald's commercial this week, and I thought I had it, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're gonna have to eat an egg McMuffin in the morning. Is that going to be a problem?" I said, "I'm vegan, not stupid. I mean, I'll take the money."
No, like for real, give me the money.
I'll eat it. Like,
I love McDonald's, by the way.
You're not going to fully eat it. You're going to spit it out in a bucket so they can do the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you should have seen the audition. I thought I was going to gag.
They're wonderful. As a brand, I'm talking about. I've worked with McDonald's several times, and they're so wonderful.
It's not real beef. Don't worry. It's not real.
We're not going there. All right. So yeah, Moon Knight. Anybody else got anything else to talk about Moon Knight there? Or?
No.
All right, sweet. What do you have for your number 13 there, La?
Werewolf by Midnight. I mean by night. Did I mean?
Oh yeah. We were talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly liked it. I liked Werewolf by Night. And you've got it pretty high on your list. What was it that stuck out to you? Obviously, you said you liked what's her name?
I like Elsa. I like Elsa.
Yeah.
I like the feel of it. I like Elsa. I like the feel of it. I love that it was like a throwback to like old school. Because if you don't do that, kids nowadays are not going to know what that is. So like I like that they do that. So if somebody goes back and watches an old movie just like out of like this is stupid, I want to see this thing, they're gonna be like, Marvel did the thing with the thing. And so like I love that I love those aspects of it. But honestly, Matt has me looking at it a little differently, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Matt's giving me a different perspective on
that.
It's giving my old list. I'm feeling guilty about a lot of my life, honestly.
I never feel guilty about things I don't know. Exactly. So Matt's opened my eyes a little bit to this, so I appreciate that. So yeah,
I love it. Anything else to add to Werewolf by Night there, Matt? Or
nope?
Cell phone.
I'll get to it a little later.
All right, fair. Yeah, same. All right, what's your number 13 there, Matt?
I'm gonna keep this very short. WandaVision. I didn't like it. I hated the first 4 episodes. Nothing happened. I am a huge Wanda stan. I love Wanda. I absolutely wish she would have been the phase 4 or 5 villain. I wish they would have built up like what happened in Doctor Strange should have happened in the entire. She should have been the penultimate villain. People that say that she's like, oh, why did she turn villainous? She's reading the book of the devil. Like that's how that WandaVision is. She's reading the devil's book.
Yeah. We see it right at the end of WandaVision. The very end.
And I also think like in the line in Doctor Strange when she's like, how come when you do this that you're a hero, but when I do this I'm the villain? No, that's what villains say. People took that as like, see, she's not making a point. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
So WandaVision, I thought was the chance for Wanda to build up her villainy, that she was this was step 1 of her becoming the penultimate villain for the next like 5 years. And it didn't do that. It tried to hero, like it tried to give her like something weird to do. And having said that, she acted the hell out of every scene. Vision acted the hell out of every scene. I don't like Agatha. I don't like the twist with Quicksilver. I thought that was dumb.
Yes.
I don't like Darby and the other, like the sword kind of whole subplot. I hated that. I thought it was dumb. I didn't realize those characters were there. And then the way they shafted the sword villain at the end too, I thought that was the most shysty thing you can do to a villain of a series. He didn't even have a speech. He's like tries to shoot a kid and then like dips out and then he gets crashed off screen. I'm like, was that how he originally went? I know you did rewrites like that. That was bad. And what also bothered me too is they did like a really like and to them they saw it as sexist, but I saw what they did as sexist more. So Doctor Strange was supposed to show up. All those commercials was Doctor Strange, and the final commercial was gonna be Doctor Strange breaking into the thing and getting through to Wanda and like showing up to help save the day, which would have built up to Doctor Strange. And then because of COVID, they paused and they had to do reshoots, and they cut all of that out because they're like, no, it's sexist if Doctor Strange shows up to save the woman. I'm like, no, it's building up to Wanda, and he's not saving. Like this is a story. Their genders are irrelevant.
But
in this
but she needs to be saved because she's reading the book of the devil.
Exactly.
And she's learning witchcraft from like a really bad witch. Like she needs some help. She needs some help.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like, and I didn't like the CGI fight in the end and all that. So to me, I'm like, I love Wanda, and I wanted her to get the best, and she didn't get the best. So that's all I gotta say about that.
And Marvel has that issue that I've noticed for a long time with the big finale always being these gaudy CGI fights.
Black Adam
or Black Panther, the OG Black Panther.
That last fight
that took me right out of the movie. That movie would have been an 8, a 10.
It was practical effects with everything and throwing hands.
Like, why? Why?
So you love the final of Black Panther 2.
Yeah, they did not need to do that. Yeah, exactly. And I find that far too often in a lot of these superhero movies, not just Marvel, but I agree. Anybody else on that?
I'll go later because that's lower in my list. Yes.
All right. What were we at there? 13?
That was now we're 12.
12.
Oh! I haven't done my 12 yet.
Oh. Yeah, we're on 12 now. You good?
Oh, we're going on 12. Yeah. Okay. So my 12 is Jennifer Walters and the She-Hulk series. This is not an indictment to saying I didn't like the show because, unlike most, I really, really like the show. I took the show for exactly what it was. As someone who used to read the old runs where she would break the fourth wall all the time and be yelling at the editors and yelling at the writers of the book and seeing how promiscuous she's always been as a character and embracing that and never being slut shamed or anything like that for it. You know, I loved all it, and I was all in for all of that. And my only issue was so I had a couple issues, but my biggest issue was that all the bro flakes that cried about She-Hulk, about this is they're man bashing this and they're this and woke this, woke that. All those fuckers all loved the finale, and I fucking hated the finale. Like I like the idea of her popping out. I loved her popping out of the Disney Plus screen and stuff like that, the fourth wall. But I mean, you get that build up, and even though I hated it being Kevin or whatever his name, not Kevin, but
it was Kevin. That's his name.
Hulk, I forget the Bro Hulk dude becoming a Hulk as well at the end.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that they just totally ignored it, like she has this big talk with Kevin, this whole, it was very meta, we were talking about, they were, change back off screen because, it costs more money. I love jokes like that and everything they're doing, but the fact that's how they resolved, the fact that they resolved the whole, her being in the cabin with that guy who turned into the Hulk, just by, okay, now we're there and they're in handcuffs. And
I was like, I wish he would have been like, look, I understand that you don't want to do this, but this is a Disney show. We do need an action set piece. So like, just for us, please do this action set piece. And then we'll meet halfway. I thought that would have been a great end because it does very much feel like, and we're at the end. Good job, everyone.
It is a time to go back to practical effects. Like, I'm sorry, but when the game of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot, I fucking loved. I love seeing Groot in practical effects.
Yeah.
And then I loved in the series finale of She-Hulk where they did the old school 70s, style Incredible Hulk, and they had this huge woman bodybuilder.
It's actually a guy. That's actually
was that a dude?
Yeah, it's a guy, yeah.
The a guy.
I mean, there's so many wrestlers.
Yeah.
The
stunt double in the rest of the show was a woman. So her actual stunt double was a woman, but in that flashback scene, it was a guy.
Yeah, because I seen her stunt double was like 7 foot something, or
in heels. Yeah, in heels, it's like 7'2".
Yeah, so I don't know. I would have went with Rochelle Gonzalez from the WWE, but that's just me.
That's my number 11. By the way,
that was my only beef really with that. Oh, and as a guy that really, really loved World War Hulk and Planet Hulk, they did my boy Scar so bad. Yes. And what was with that Fast and the Furious ending?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
know.
waiting. We all were waiting for Dom to show up and be like,
I think it's just
I
I don't know.
gotta
I think
go
it's
with the
leading. I
family.
just think it's leading to more because I recently just watched all that, I watched like a whole bunch of those episodes.
Yeah.
But just listening to like some of the stuff she's saying, like she breaks the fourth wall. So like usually if she breaks the fourth wall, that means she's kind of like telling some truth in some way, like she's
Yeah.
speaking. So she talks about like, yeah, we don't need this. We'll see that in the movie. I was like, oh, so there's gonna be a Hulk movie. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, that's the rumor. They are building.
I was like,
they are gonna
okay,
make
that's
Hulk movies,
nice. When she's like, when
Hopefully.
he's like, wait till the camera comes back on me so you can turn, and then they play like the Wakanda music. I was like, oh, so the people are working on Wakanda Forever during that time. They played the
I
Wakanda
didn't
music
even
over
pick
there.
up on the
It was like because it played like the little like the little drum parts, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Wakanda Forever that the graphics people were working on. That's why they couldn't show her changing. I was like, that's cool. So like, I do agree though. That finale, I was like, so she ain't gonna punch nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It is a Hulk.
I was like, we just in the outfit for nothing. Cool. Then like I did like her breaking through. I did like her being like, yo, we need to fix this because like now we just got all the storylines just popping into it. We need to figure this out. I thought she was gonna smooth it over and not gloss over it. To me, that was kind of again lazy writing. I can't admit that. She-Hulk is lower down. She-Hulk is like 6 in my list, but like I fully enjoyed it. The finale though, I was like, it is what it is. But the majority of the show I enjoyed.
Yeah, I love the majority of that show.
Mm-hmm.
Matt,
my number 12 is Eternals, and we pretty much already talked about that. The highlights, the lows. I got nothing more to say on it.
Sweet.
It's-
and I
it's-
think I didn't mean to. I just meant what you thought of
She-Hulk.
but okay,
Oh, no,
that's all right.
Shield is my number 11, so I'll just
okay.
say it right now too. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was the best Disney Plus show. Like unbiasedly, I think Hawkeye and Loki are above. And no, there's a few. So it was like middle of the pack. I thought it was good. It wasn't the best. I thought like Bros like getting pissed off was perfect because they wrote this 3 years ago, so they already knew like what people were gonna do. And
they literally knew what they were gonna say verbatim. Which
Yeah,
is the
so it was good,
thing.
but I wish they would have really pushed on it. Like really, like they release a sex tape of her. How scummy is that? Like push on that. Like let's get to the like I don't know about you, but like for me, like if that was in the there's no way to me and watching that show that she would have let that slide and be like, well, like turn the other cheek. Fuck that. No, like she would have fucked someone up. She would have beat his face in, and then she would have taken him to court and beat him there. Like to me, it's like you spank him off, you spank him in a fight, then you spank him in the law room. That's what I think.
She did freak out though.
But I think like that's what they're building. But I think that's what they're building her character to be. Like she's her whole arc is like figuring out who she is. And who like She-Hulk is, because she keeps referring to them as two separate beings.
Yeah, two separate.
But you're actually like the same person.
It's not like Hulk and Bruce. They are like Hulk and Bruce are.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore, but like not anymore, but like, but they were. So like, but the way she was, to me, that was her journey. So for her meeting Daredevil and being like, yo, like maybe you can do both. Maybe you can be the person who helps when the law is good, and you can be the person.
And the Daredevil, I love it. The walk of shame, I love it.
Yeah,
I was like,
walls
my
and
boy Daredevil.
Listen, I prefer whatever the MCU was about to do with this Matt Murdock than we did in the
I like
Netflix.
the old net one.
I don't mind the Netflix one. He was grimy. He was with it, but he was so angsty that it took me out of the show a lot. And I don't mind you. Yeah, I don't mind you being a little dark. I don't mind you being a little greedy, but there has to be there's some dark and gritty moments in my life, but there's also levity in my life as well. Yeah. And I was just like, where the levity, bro? I was like, he's so
Daredevil
dark.
He's not like a dark, and he's not Batman. Like he has his
he has his moments,
and he's a playboy.
Well,
he's
Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil was pretty much Batman.
Yeah.
That's why there's a reason why Chip's writing Batman now.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you got up next, Self? And what's your number 12?
Number 12, WandaVision, for all of the same reasons Matt said. And I almost feel like Vision almost like stole like the end of that show just about with the conversation between
the Theseus.
I love that. That might be like one of my favorite moments in Phase 4 where they're just talking to each other. And I just absolutely hated the Ralph Boner thing, and that's where I'll leave that.
Yeah. Fair.
Dumb decision.
Yeah, that was a bit of a boner idea. I'm a dad. That's what I do.
That's fine, but I feel like you've always been like this. Don't chalk it up to you having children.
Oh yeah.
Don't use your.
I can talk to teenage Zeus. He says the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You have no idea. You have no idea. It was just more offensive. Hey, listen, you try growing up as the only black kid in a white town, a biker town.
I grew up as the only Latino in a white town, so I'm right there with you, man.
Did your mom run a strip bar too?
No.
Anyways, it's not a competition. I know. It's not a competition.
I know it
What
was
do you
giving
got for
very
number 12?
Deadpool. It was giving very Deadpool.
Right?
My 12 was What If.
Oh,
A lot of like my next two are going to be ones we already talked about, so we can just like if nobody has anything to say. But mine was What If. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I love animation. Period. So they gave me Marvel finally gave me animation that I can enjoy. So
Fair enough.
Yep.
I can honestly say I don't think there's a property that I hated in this fight.
Agreed. I would watch all of these things again.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Love and Thunder, I'm cool. But other than that,
I would say the same thing about Miss Marvel.
I will watch the director's cut of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'll watch the behind the scenes. Behind the scenes.
Highlights. I would watch highlights of all of these things, like 20-minute highlights of everything. I would
There you
watch
go.
highlights about them. There's a good 20 minutes from everything we've seen.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
What do you got at 12 there, Matt? You told us already, but what was it?
It was the Eternals, and then 11 is She-Hulk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's go back to back. So She-Hulk. Oh yeah, and we talked about that a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
My 11 is Black Widow, and we talked about it. So I don't know if anybody has anything else to say about it.
No, yeah. I would say everything I got to say about it. Yeah.
Did you have anything to add to She-Hulk at all, Matt? Or
No, that's that. Yeah, what I said is that it's good. I liked it. There's better things.
yeah, fair.
I respect that. Yeah.
What about you, Cell Phone? What's your 11, buddy?
11 is where I have Black Widow, and we've kind of already talked about that one.
Hey!
Loved Red
We 11 buddies.
Guardian and learning about the family in the Red Room War was cool. And yeah, I was kind of turned off by Taskmaster, but not as much as you guys.
Yeah.
Black Widow's my 10.
Yeah. I enjoyed everything about Black Widow. My biggest hang up is I just wanted it to come out after Civil War like it was supposed to. It would have made more sense in the
For
timeline.
Sure.
And I don't think it would have gotten as much discourse as it did if it would have came out when it was supposed to. But yeah, that's me.
Fair enough. And that was 11. And you had the same 11?
Yeah, Black Widow.
Yeah.
And Matt, what was your 11?
A She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk, Shulky. So
And
we're down
10
to-
is my Black Widow. So
Oh, wow. Anything new?
Turning
to
them now.
Black Widow
so
conversation?
yeah, no, I'm pretty much getting down to the final
This is
for
awesome.
me. So yeah, Black Widow is everything I had to say about
All
that.
right. Well, my number 10 was Ms. Marvel.
That's funny. This is so cute. Yeah.
And you know what I love about, so I talked about how I growing up as a Disney kid, and I grew up in the era where TGIF started. Thank God It's Friday.
Me too.
So
yeah.
all those family friendly shows, and
Mhm.
but even like Who's the Boss before that. So
Yep.
I've always loved family
Mhm.
kind of sitcoms,
Agreed.
and that's what Ms. Marvel was for me. The slowest episodes for me was when they went to Pakistan, but that wasn't a bad thing.
Right.
It was slow because it was teaching us
Right.
something I never knew about, and
I
my
think
entire life,
it
I didn't know
wasn't
about
what we were
Parker.
watching, it was how they were presenting it. I love that whole story. It was how it was presented was so slow. It was so slow. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really
Pacing-
weird. It was really
Pacing
presented
throughout
weird.
Miss Marvel as a totality could be better. The pacing could be better because there were lingering shots, lingering scenes, lingering dialogue, and you were like, you could cut this, baby. We could have just got to the beats.
But-
It's potatoes.
But Matt talked earlier about how just basically for you, I think, and I'm paraphrasing here, but Milani was basically the only one where you felt kind of captured everything. But I felt like, man, I loved her relationship with her and her father. It was
Well,
so
the
good.
family was
And her
everyone was
mom
wonderful.
and her brother, yeah, and
Everyone
even her
acted the
best
hell out of
friend.
this.
And
It made you wish every scene was them. Like that's how
Yes,
it felt. Like every time I was like,
absolutely,
we watched the scene in Miss Marvel with the family, like, yay! And then it goes, I'm like, no, go back. Oh, we gotta go damage control. God
Yeah.
damn it.
That's
It could
exactly what I
have
said,
been.
too.
It could have been with like damage control and other things, kind of like skulkily in the background, but it's like heavily about our family. It's just pacing and writing.
Yeah, for sure. Cell phone.
Whoa, number 10?
Yeah, what do you got for 10? baby?
Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Nice.
Continue. I'm sorry. I'm just fine.
So it was totally fun. I love the Kevin Bacon stuff. Drax and Mantis were awesome. Get to see more of them. I love them two together. But I felt like the only thing that this really added to the Guardians was the fact that Mantis was Peter's brother.
Or
Like,
sister, yeah.
and that other than that, I love the original music by the band that was in there, and
Kevin Bacon's band.
it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, which is I like this. I like this a lot as well. I think we've all got it ranked higher, so I'll talk about it a little bit later with my ranking. But what do you
me too. I got to rank a little higher. You said Matt, right? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, Matt. What about you? Buddy?
Oh,
Did you have
number
anything with that or
number 10 was Black Widow.
10 was Black
Oh, yeah.
Widow. Oh yeah, that's right. All right.
That's right.
All right. What's your 10 then, La?
My 10 is Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Talk to us about Hawkeye.
I watched this really late, but I thoroughly enjoyed Hawkeye. I thought it was nice because we don't get much of Hawkeye. He's part of the 6, but you can kind of forget that he was there.
Only one without a movie.
Only one without a movie. And so it's like one of those things where it's like I was happy he at least got a TV show where we can flesh out his character.
Yeah.
I personally don't care about his family. So I was happy that they weren't. I'm sorry, like we don't get enough of them for me to really care about them. Love Linda Cardellini though. The fact that she's Agent 13, I would have loved a short talking about her being Agent 13, or at least seeing her in action, because essentially she's Mockingbird, and I'm like, yes, this makes sense. We should have got this.
She's no Adrian Padalecki, but yeah.
I feel like she's better, but it's just me. I enjoy Adrian as well, but I'm just saying I love me some Linda Cardellini. So but I enjoyed Hawkeye. I personally wanted the buck to be passed to his daughter and not to Kate Bishop, but I understand that they were like Kate's canon too, but it's like it's fine with that.
His daughter's also not an actress in real life. It's
I know.
One of the big problems with that one.
Yeah, so it's just like one of those.
Oh, was that his real life daughter?
That was the director. That was a Russo.
Yeah, that's
Joe Russo. That was his daughter.
Okay. Yeah, that's a Russo.
So like it was a cameo.
But my thing is, just like you can switch Cassie out, you can switch his daughter out. But that's
yes,
true.
But
they switched Cassie 3 times now.
Listen, I'm okay with the 2 times because you aged her up, and that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why
the third one, girl. I'm disrespected about that movie. That's a whole different conversation. Like I'm thoroughly disrespected because that actor who replaced her don't like her as an actress. I think she's so. She's mid to me. She's very mid to me, and I really wanted to see what the other girl had to bring. But anyway, but yeah, I enjoyed Hawkeye. I thought the fighting was good. I thought it was great. I thought the incorporation of Yelena coming in, her finally getting over like that grief, and then finally for like Hawkeye to have essentially another like Romanoff or like another Black Widow to kind of like, I enjoyed that aspect of it.
The closure of it.
Kate irked me the entire like a nice chunk of like I'll say like the first 3 or 4 episodes. It took me a minute to care about her because I'm
not hurt.
It's one of those things where it's like I understand. It's kind of what I wanted from Miss Marvel. She watched him and was like, oh, I'm flabbergasted. He's doing this with a bow and arrow. I'm obsessed with him. Something that Miss Marvel should have had with them, but they didn't. I would have preferred that. But she was highly arrogant. She was so privileged and highly arrogant. And
she's a really privileged character.
It was like
that's the story. At the end, she kind of realizes that she's got privilege.
But again, your family disappeared. You ain't got no choice. But like, your family goes to jail and stuff like that. Your daddy dead. You had no choice. But like, the fact that she was out here fighting to get punched in the face and it wasn't really stunning her the way I needed it to as a new fighter. I understand that she got like training and stuff like that, but I just needed it to be a little bit more realistic of somebody who's never fought before. She was getting lucky every 2 seconds, but that plot armor was tough on that girl. But I was
the gun missed and everything.
She's fought her entire life though. To be fair, she's won martial arts tournaments.
That's cute, but when you fighting, but when you're fighting Kingpin.
Yeah.
Like, she was getting
whopped her though.
She was getting rocked, and she was just getting back up. But I was just like, "Girl,
she should though.
She should." Yeah.
Everybody's freaking out about Kingpin's strength in this movie or in this series, and I'm like, we're talking about a dude that almost ripped Spider-Man in half in the comic books.
Yeah.
That's not superpowers. That's super fat, super muscle. Like that's who that guy is.
He's fat, but he's also really strong.
He's really strong. But I'm not saying
that fat's actually like 90% muscle.
No, she's saying like he. So he. What? Sorry. You
sorry.
Don't mansplain for me, man.
I was gonna say.
Jeez, man. Gosh, I thought we were on a good record right now. But okay. No, well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that she shouldn't get back up. I want her to get back up. But it's just how she was getting back up. It was just like, this is a massive man. I don't care how trained she is.
I'm sorry.
He's a massive man.
Yeah, she should have gotten knocked.
Man punched me in the chest. It's gonna be a minute. It's gonna take me a minute. I'm gonna like, even if she still got up and breathing hard, there needed to be more physicality to like what she was going through. And she was just like, oh, okay, we'll find this arrow and I'm gonna do this. But it was just like, I was like,
You need to get her nose broken. You need to get her face broken. She needs to look like she
got whooped, and like she didn't. And I was just like, make it make sense.
I wonder if that's partly Disney being like, oh, we don't want to show too much violence.
Teenage girl get her ass.
But I don't like that. Then so don't make it so she fights Kingpin at the end. You know what I mean? Like if you're not going.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Don't make her fight Kingpin of all people.
I wanted the Namor M'Baku scene with Kingpin and
I
want that. God.
And
like,
then
I'm
disappear.
feeling like a chair.
It did disappear.
Yeah.
I don't want no more of that.
About to not so
Yeah.
much. All right. What do you got next there, Matt? You're up. I believe.
My number 10 was Black Widow. Are we on number 9 now?
Number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
number
Yeah,
nine.
it's Loki. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it really slowed down, but the spectacle of it was really good. My only complaint is that I hated the villain, the woman in charge of TVA. I'm like, I don't care about her character. I don't know what's going on with her character. They kept holding so much to the chest, like, oh, season 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Yeah.
I think that was like
Yeah.
my big complaint is everything's like, wait for season 2. I'm like,
No,
no,
but
just
it's
tell us
like,
now.
but it's like at least give me something to look forward to because
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know what to look forward to in season 2. I'm
Having
just
said
kinda
that, the
like, all right.
security guard, that woman was I have a crush on her. She's wonderful
She's
in every
amazing.
way. Loved her in
Yes.
Lovecraft Country.
Yes,
She's
we all did. Yes.
everything. So for hers in this, loved her.
Mhm.
But the other actors, I was like, I don't give a fuck about you. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
No, I get
Loki
you.
was cool, but also it was one of those things of like Sylvie stealing the show. And I'm like, God,
Yeah.
like this is
Mhm.
Loki.
But
Like it's not Loki and the Sylvie. It's like
Fair.
this is Loki. Give us Loki, and if you want to do Sylvie, you can do Sylvie somewhere else. Like Falcon
To be
and no
fair,
one else got
Sylvie
this
is
kind of
Loki,
attention in
though.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
like
Like
Sylvie is Loki though, so
True.
it's still, even if the total
True.
focus is on her or it's on Richard E. Grant or it's on the kid or it's on the crocodile, it's still on Loki, right? Like technically,
I feel like that's a technicality. She never
I
calls
mean,
herself Loki.
it's a
She never
pretty
calls
big,
herself Loki, though.
it's a pretty big technicality. I mean,
never calls
they're
herself
all
Loki.
the same
Uh,
person, just a different.
Well, she
variant.
doesn't like to be called Loki, so
But that doesn't
But
change.
not-
She's a
no,
Loki.
no, but
I get you. I
that
get
was
you.
later on.
Yeah,
no, we get what you're saying, though. But
forever.
she's
But
still
yeah,
like to call Loki.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm just,
My number 9's Loki. My number 9's Loki.
I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Nitpick all day, man. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's all. That's
That
all.
makes
I
for
like
great
that-
conversation.
down
Stop it.
there. All right, so that was 9 for you, and 9 for me was WandaVision. I went with WandaVision as well. To me, this show is great. The first 4 episodes should have been 2 episodes, though.
Should have been
Yeah.
one episode, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 to 2 episodes. We didn't need to go back 4 episodes just to say, "Hey, look at the shout out we're giving to this, series
Yeah,
from back in the day." Great, it was cool, but I couldn't deal with it at the beginning, and I almost stopped watching WandaVision because it was going on too long. I found, but then once they got into the story, I dig Darcy though. Sorry, Matt. I liked her ever since the first horror movie. I think she's a funny character. So her and Jimmy Woo, like I get laughs out of both those characters. So I love seeing them both in this. And Agatha, the reveal of Agatha. Yeah, we knew it was coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't know you'd see that
Oh, of
coming.
course we knew it was coming, but they red herring the shit out of that so many times
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
they were like, "Is it really Agatha?" Because we didn't say, or no, because we didn't say it was Agnes or whatever, or her name was Agnes.
Yeah, she's
Her
like,
name's
"Hi,
Agnes.
I'm Agatha Harkness," and I'm like, "I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care you're Agnes.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything just because you told me a fake name. I
Right.
didn't know your real name. It's like, oh, it's
So we knew, especially being Catherine Hahn, she was going to be something more
Mhm.
prominent. But I still loved it. I loved that it was Agatha all along a little bit, and I killed the dog too. It was,
I liked it. I don't want a show about her though.
Yeah.
I have to say that I don't
Oh,
want a
no.
goddamn show.
That coven of witches coming out. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, but you know what though, and what I like about MCU though is, it seems to me they're trying to give genres now for everybody. We're getting the horror genre.
for now,
We're
we'll
gonna
see.
get the witches, so we're getting kind of like the supernatural
Mhm.
sort of thing there. Which we've already had with
We got
Multiverse of
monsters
Madness.
now. We got like monsters.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They're
Yeah,
building
man.
that world. Some
Yeah,
cool,
I'm
yeah.
down with that. But yeah, okay. So that was my 9. What'd you have at 9 there, cell phone?
I got She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Really enjoyed it. Really funny. I liked everything about it. I kind of wish maybe Abomination would have been more of a badass at the end, but that's okay. I mean, that's just what they do with their villains most of the time. So
Well, we'll see in Thunderbolts.
Nothing.
We still don't know what he is in Thunderbolts, right? Because the Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
he wasn't shown as being a member of the team, but we know he's
Right.
in that movie.
Right.
Yeah, he
So
is,
maybe
yeah.
he's the
villain.
chase.
Maybe he's maybe he's the one.
maybe he's the good guy that's there.
Yeah, because he goes. Yeah,
chasing.
he's a
Yeah.
Kamar-Taj now.
yeah.
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 Love it though. That's a great pick. Number 9. Did you go already live for 9?
No, 9 for me is Miss Marvel. 8 is WandaVision. So they're gonna go back to back for the most part.
You got anything you want to add to any of those?
I don't have anything to add to Miss Marvel. I think I already talked about that. I enjoyed everything about it. For me, I enjoyed WandaVision. I like the fact that we were confused in the first like 3 episodes, and then the 4th episode is the one where you kind of like get the whole spiel because we're confused because Wanda's confused. So I love that we're pretty much on that journey with her.
Yeah.
And then by the time she starts to understand some things, we start to understand some things. So like instead of us being like Monica in this, we're actually Wanda, and that's like to me the different flip to that type of trope. But I love Monica. I love that she got her abilities. I love how she got her abilities.
Switch that up.
I love that, that's a different switch up to her being something different. I can't wait to the Marvel so I can see whether she becomes Spectrum or Photon, because they didn't really like specify.
I think they said Spectrum, didn't they? Just
they said like she was like they said something about her seeing the Spectrum or something like that. So I'm assuming that's where they're going to go.
They just recently announced that she like did they?
It's like lunchboxes that confirm that she's Spectrum.
Is it? Oh, I haven't seen any of that. So I haven't seen any of that.
She's Spectrum.
So I'm excited to see that because she is, she's, Monica's the Captain Marvel essentially. So I'm excited to see what they do with her, and I hope that they don't push her to the side like they do most people, like superheroes or actors of color. And I know Tiana's pregnant.
I don't think Brie Larson would allow that, to be honest. Everything with
I don't think she will either. But I hope she. But again, sometimes you kind of
the director's a black woman too, right? For the Marvels.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I honestly have a feeling that all 3 characters will hopefully in the Marvels.
Well, no, I meant like
I think Carol will have the least amount of screen.
But I mean, like in the grand scheme of the things, because I don't want the Marvels to happen, and then we just don't see Monica Rambeau anymore. Like I want.
Yeah, I agree. They have to. Yes.
Yeah. I hope. I hope it's in the grand. Right. I need to know. That was the whole thing about. That's the whole thing about WandaVision. I need to know, what did Carol do that made this girl not like her no more? Did she just not show up no more? Was she not there? But I need it though. I need it.
Yeah, because that's twice now. That's twice Carol abandoned her mother, and then she abandoned her, and then she abandoned her mother again.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, that was to me my favorite part of WandaVision was getting that bit of Monica, because I'm like, okay, this is a Wanda show, but looking at it as a Monica show, I'm like, bro, the Marvels is gonna be good. Yeah. She's gonna say some messed up shit to Carol.
I don't think they'll ignore her going further either, because we recently found out that, is it in Quantumania or maybe in Armor Wars, that we're gonna get Professor Bashir, Blue Marvel. So I think that means they're gonna set up Alpha Flight movie, which I kind of fucking hate, because Alpha Flight should be the Canadian super team, not some super.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I just need more Monica. That's just pretty much essentially like my assessment is. I just need more Monica. I love Tiana Parrish. I love her. I love what she's bringing to the character. I love that they let her use her hair. I know that sounds crazy, but it don't sound crazy.
On the next Guardians of the Galaxy team. I'm down for that.
I'm here,
team. Make sure she's there.
I'm here for all that. I just want to see the build up of her character, and I hope it's done correctly. So
nice. All right, let's fly through these real quick. Matt, what do you got there? You gave us your 9?
I gave my 9 was Loki. Yeah.
What's your 8?
Loki. My number 8 is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought it was. I really liked it. It kept me entertained throughout. Anthony Mackie, his whole everything was perfect. I wish that they would have tackled race more on the surface. I didn't like the way that they handled the villain, either of the villains. I thought they were kind of like afterthoughts to the story. I didn't like it to me, it was like, and I'm just going to say this blanket. I felt like if those characters were men, they would have both been killed, or something would have happened to them. But because they were women, that's something. And I was like, you don't like, to me, it felt like fake. They were
do
like,
the male.
Because to me, and the way they did Anthony Mackie dirty as when he came Captain America, barely could defeat a helicopter, lost the fight to the guy, could barely hold up the hammer, and lost the fight to the girl in the end. And I'm like, you're shaming the boy. Like, this is his time to be Captain America. He lost 3 fights. Like,
but he has no powers.
He hasn't got the serum.
It doesn't matter. He's smart. He's talented. He has the shield. He has the wings. Yeah. We see he can fight. Give him his time to shine. So for me, I'm like, that's the only downfall was that.
I'm hoping that'll come with his. I hope that'll come with his movie.
Yeah.
Agreed. And also Walker, the redemption arc for Walker. Fuck that noise. No, that guy's a fucking racist. He deserves to be in the ground.
There is no redemption. I don't care what he did at the end.
He's going to Thunderbolts. He's going to be worse.
Exactly. I don't care what he did at that little bit at the end. And that's no redemption.
I'm quoting Marvel. The writer of it. That's him.
Cute.
He was like, "This is the," and I was like, "Come on."
It's no redemption. There's no redemption.
I don't listen to the writers
anymore. In cold blood. There's no
Feige.
redemption, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I'm
Stop
like,
it.
that's my ups and downs of that. There's some really good highs. I just wish they would have just tackled that shit on the surface. Like
Right.
Anthony Mack is like, yeah, I want us to say some things, but I couldn't. I'm like, no, let him. Like, let's, I'd also really like to handle the Black Captain America before Anthony Mack and everything.
Yep.
For me, I'm like, yes, this is good. New World Order, I'm excited for.
Isaiah Bradley.
Joaquin Torres,
Isaiah
everything,
Bradley as well now. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm excited
So we
for
got
that.
Patriots coming. All right. My number 8. This is gonna get some hate. Oh no, this won't get hate. This is my Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Oh,
Mine's
same
7.
reason.
Guardians
Yeah,
is 7 for me.
yeah. Everything's thinking
It was
Lost.
fun. It was fun.
It was a fun movie. I mean, Kevin Bacon was great. It was just that. It was absolutely fun, and it was canon.
Fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
And it's the first Disney Plus anything that we've got an actual superhero Avengers in.
Yeah.
Before this, we've never actually got any actual members of like the core series from the movies. It's the
Yeah.
first time.
So it's awesome. So that's mine. What do you got for number 8 there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Keys.
8, Miss Marvel. A lot of great history stuff I didn't know we got to learn. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the music. The soundtrack was really cool.
Soundtrack was solid. Yeah.
I like all the bright colors they use. I liked it all the way around. It's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
8 for me is WandaVision. So we already talked about that. So
Yeah. It was a
if we
great
go to, if we go to 7, it's Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So
Yeah. Okay. Captain America and Winter Soldier. All right. Well,
yeah.
Well, why is that a 7 there for you?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. One, I love seeing Anthony Mackie on screen, so that's already bumping it up to March.
You get Daddy a sandwich.
Come on. But also I loved like Bucky and his relationship. Their relationship to me is
always.
No, listen, I want to be Sarah. You understand me? But no,
Right.
but like Bucky in his relationship with Sam to me is a better version of Bucky and Steve.
Yeah.
Because Steve let Bucky pass and Sam doesn't let him pass. And I'm like, a true friend doesn't let you pass on the bullshit that you've done.
Yeah.
And regardless if you weren't in control or not, you're in control now. So do something about it. And I love that confrontation. I love that that talk between them two. I love the fact that we actually saw him training with the shield and not just, it wasn't so like everybody was so mad that Cap gave it to him at the end, which I wasn't, but a lot of people were mad that he got it at the end. A lot of people felt like it should have went to Bucky, but also I felt like Sam earned that. And then in this show, he shows that he's learning. He's also he's pointing to himself that he's earning it, because that's why he gave it away, because he felt like all the other naysayers felt that he didn't deserve it. And then this film showed that he deserved it. And then his compassion, his care of other people, how he stood up to that government and was like, y'all don't live in this world like I live in this world, like these people live in this world, and you just like, you looking at statistics and numbers, and I'm actually looking at people, and like it just hit home for me. It hit home in a way that a lot of Marvel properties doesn't. And yes, there's some things racially that they could have did better with it, but again, Disney is not known for being racially coherent, and they're slowly getting there, and Marvel is kind of helping them to get there. But even though Marvel still needs some help, they're learning too by how they're casting people in the background. There's more people of color behind the scenes doing things, writing, so it's getting better. But Captain America and the Winter Soldier, it just that hit for me. It hit for me, and they had Wakandans in there. I'm like, let's go! Like, it was,
I loved it. I loved everything. I just
what do you got, Matt?
For number 8 or 7?
7.
Yeah, so 7 is Guardians. And yeah, it's the same thing. I loved it. It was happy. It was fun. I have nothing to complain about. That's how I kind of felt about She-Hulk. I have nothing bad to say. And
we
to me,
need more
Guardians
happy.
is exactly that. I have nothing.
No,
bad
we
to say.
do.
It was fun.
We do.
We really do. I find I feel like a lot of times, especially with shows like what we're doing here today, and we see there's so many of them out there, and so many great ones too. But I find that people stop watching these as what we originally started watching them as comic book movies, as something, as escapism. We start looking at these a lot of ways as like a Quentin Tarantino or what's his name, Scorsese would look at them and try to judge them as if they're an auteur film. You know, it's what I love this stuff, and I won't talk shit about it, but we are talking about fucking people in tights doing superhero shit,
for sure,
and we're looking for fucking Saving Private Ryan. And I'm like,
no, exactly. To me, it's entertainment. Am I entertained by this? Is it fun? Did it set out to do what it wanted to do? Yes.
And that's what my list is for, and that's what my whole love for Marvel comes from.
Same.
I just want to be enjoyed.
I just want to
see
enjoy
the shit that I grew up reading in comic books
Yeah.
on the screen. The fact that I can see an Avengers team up, never mind. Now I'm seeing Shang fucking Chi.
Yeah. That character.
If you would have told me that I was gonna. Never mind Shang-Chi. If you would have told me I would have seen a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and then that would have been one of the most beloved of all the Marvel movies, I would have said you're stupid and you know nothing about comic books.
Let's just reiterate that Guardians beat a Batman versus Superman movie in terms of bringing in money. If you had told me that 20 years ago, you know Guardians of the Galaxy is going to make more money than Batman versus Superman, who the fuck are Guardians of the Galaxy?
But you can say the same thing about Iron Man because a lot of people didn't even know about him.
Yeah, I don't know though because
I'm not saying everybody.
I'm a bit older.
Do you know? But no. I'm not.
Iron Man cartoons.
Okay. Listen. You're a billion years old. We get it.
I would say younger millennials. Yeah, Iron Man was not in the.
But I'm saying a lot of people. Iron Man is not in their ether. Like a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people know more about DC's like people than they do about Marvel people. So Iron Man to be your first movie essentially. But I know Blade was my first movie. But anyway, well, you know Howard the Duck actually.
Yeah,
but still, but like
Blank Man,
come on. But it's one of those things where it's like Iron Man is your first movie, and it like blows your mind to the point where people are like, "Who's they barely talked about him. Like I don't know about him. Like that means something. Yeah. That means something. Yeah. You know, they all can't be Western saying nigga all the time. Can they? Can
they, Quentin? Anyway, Quentin. Don't even get us started. All right.
We can have a whole conversation.
Number six.
Number six. And who's up?
Zeus, I think you were.
Zeus. All right. My number six was Moon Knight. We talked a lot about this. To me, this is the reason why I have this ranked so high. And it's funny because after my little tirade there about watching this just for the love of the stuff, I love this show for the production value and for the fucking acting that Oscar Isaac puts on.
Oh yeah,
like this is some of the most dope acting I've seen. To do accents is hard. It is really hard. To play two different characters is really hard. To play two different characters that go back and forth, and I act, so I understand that they're cutting and whatever.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's still
difficult.
And he does such a great job. And I think everybody, go ahead, Matt. And I also think like Ethan Hawke was just so phenomenal in the show. So
I love
me,
it was
I put it up just for the acting.
No, I get that. Yeah. Oscar's amazing. So yeah.
What do you got, Keys? What's your next one up?
My number 7 was Hawkeye. My number 6 is Werewolf by Night. I love the vibe. It was a lot of fun to me, and I'm a big Man-Thing fan, so I was like, this is great.
When you saw those red eyes pop out the first time, I'm like, oh my God, Swamp Thing. I mean, Man-Thing. But it was dope. I really enjoyed it, and I know Storytime talks a little bit about some of the problems he had with it, and I get that, and that's why it's great. Like La, you were saying that, like having that other perspective.
Having that perspective is great because I would have known anything different. I would have just been like, okay, they put him in this, and that's great, and I enjoyed it. But then now that I have this background about it, I'm like, ooh, y'all could have tightened up on some things. Y'all could have did a little bit better.
Well, like Watchmen. Watchmen series. I didn't know anything about Tulsa. I didn't know anything about that. They don't, especially honestly, in Florida, they're not teaching us that.
Tom Hanks ain't know about it. He came out and talked about it, how he didn't know about it. He was like, why don't we know about this stuff? Why is this stuff not in schools? Like, he even said it. Like, come on now. Like,
there's a reason why he's the real Mr. Rogers.
For
real. While we're waiting for him, what was your number 6?
My number 6 was She-Hulk. I enjoyed, I haven't talked about it, but I'll just like real briefly, I'll just say that I love She-Hulk. I loved everything about it. I thought she was funny. The fact that people are saying I know you use this word Zeus, so I'm not like picking on you, which I probably will in the future, but like the fact that she's like promiscuous, I guess, or whatever. I feel like for the most part everybody is like, and I'm just, you know what I mean, on some along the lines of some ways, like somebody is. So like, and she wasn't promiscuous in a way where she was just like, I need sex every 2 seconds every day. It was just like a normal part of her human being, of her psyche, and it was like nothing was wrong with that. I enjoyed the levity that was Daredevil. I loved that he smiled more than I've ever seen him smile in a Netflix series. Like I love that he had a little bit more whimsy. My favorite character is the guy that makes the suits.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So I need him somewhere sprinkled throughout the MCU because he's amazing.
Did he give a shout out in that to Stoatman from the Netflix series?
Yes, there.
He
Yes,
did.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed him. I love how they drop little Easter eggs that you really have to pay attention for. Like, if you read it, if she's on her computer, you see stuff on the side that pertains to like the world that we live in. And I love that this was like a self-contained type of thing. Like, I don't need Avengers coming in to help her or other superheroes coming in to help her. I love that she was explaining. I love it was like her and Bruce. And it was like a Hulk storyline essentially. I know it was She-Hulk, but it was like a Hulk storyline. Yeah. And I love that we got a little bit about family. I love that we got a little bit about Bruce, and I love that we got more about her. And I'm excited to see where she goes in the future. So She-Hulk is my number 6. My number 5 is Eternals. We don't have to talk about that anymore. But number 5 is my Eternals. We talked about it. Yeah. I enjoyed everything about it. Everybody plays their part to perfection. It could have been a little tighter. I don't care about Harry Styles.
Fair. I forgot about Harry. Yeah. What was you gave us your 6? What was your 5, Matt?
Yeah. So 6 was Doctor Strange. 5 was Hawkeye. Doctor Strange, I pretty much had to say, I thought it was fun. It was cool. I thought it was Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi. Give me Sam Raimi. I want someone with Sam Raimi. Everyone says, let the directors be directors. We did. We got it. For better or worse, we got exactly that. You want a Sam Raimi movie?
So we should stop letting directors be directors because
yeah, exactly. Well,
that's why
be a more informed director. Usually, be a more informed director. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, and like, and I didn't put WandaVision that high. So for him to say, "Oh, I didn't want WandaVision," I don't blame you. Well, I didn't like it either. Right. And you should never let someone else's art dictate your art. He's not the writer of this necessarily. He was jumped onto this, and I think this movie, just in script in general and stuff, was really all over the place. They hired they hired a writer who had no writing experience whatsoever to write the movie, and then they decided to go a completely different direction with the multiverse. Originally, Nightmare was supposed to be here. Scott Derrickson got pissed off. He left. They fired the writer, hired a new writer. It was a whole mess. So I think everything behind the scenes, it came out really good. And yeah, I'm a fanboy. I love saying silly things. I love the music scene and them fighting, and I loved the Illuminati, and I loved silly little things. And
there's elements that are amazing. There are elements
she was amazing. Was America Chavez perfect with the Latino representation? Perfect? No, but hey, at least we got something. And I've met she like 3 or 4 times now, which she's a wonderful, and to her, whether she's allowed or not allowed, because she didn't even say that America Chavez was Latina. Every time I see her, I'm like, hey, the Latino superhero, and we talk about it. So something's going on there that I don't know what's going on, but when I talk to her, she's very proud of it. For my number 5 is Hawkeye, though. I love it. It's a Christmas special. Love Christmas movies, and I'm biased. That was the first red carpet I ever went to in my entire life, so nice. I loved it. It was super fun. Loved being there. Loved seeing the energy and watching it. Yeah, it was to me, it was like cool. I like Kate Bishop, little privilege, whatever. But her and Yelena, man, they've got some sparks, man. Her and Yelena, Kate and Yelena act the hell out of it.
I could watch a movie with them. If you give me, and I know people hate the movie, but I honestly loved. I'm one of the people that actually loved Iron Man 3. You give Shane Black those two to direct, not to write. Yeah. Like I'd want to see somebody else write it, but Shane Black does great buddy comedy.
Yes. Oh yeah,
and I could see those two in a comedic movie. Give me a trilogy of that, and I'd love it.
But I really wanted Yelena to punch her in the face, because Yelena made all these threats against her and never. But Yelena made all these threats against her and never followed through on any of the threats. And I was just like, why are we just talking?
Also, Echo. I love Echo in that. She's wonderful. I'm excited.
Echo was amazing. Yeah,
she's indigenous.
First time actor.
She literally, the actress has one leg. She is actually deaf or actually mute. Like there's so many. She's a wonderful.
She's
everything.
Amazing.
I'm excited for it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And
I will say
Kingpin showed up. That was the first connection to the Netflix movie.
Yeah,
this was
history. To me, that's the one letdown of that film of that TV series for me. Hawkeye is the fact that they made it a point to make it so that you knew that Hawkeye was deaf at this point, or he was going deaf, or he was slightly deaf.
Yeah, he had blown out his ear.
Yeah, he had blown out his ear, and then they brought in, and then Echo's character was like, you could probably be way more efficient if you just took them out and just did your thing. And they kind of just bypassed that. And I was just like, how much more of a badass could Hawkeye be if he actually did try to develop his other senses like she has? And I was just like, because you could essentially make him like a Daredevil-ish type character, but I felt bad. I was just like, dang, how y'all just bypass that? Because like there's a lot of people that are like deaf or hard of hearing that this could have been like.
Well, that's Echo though.
This
That's
coulda-
what they're doing with
I
Echo.
know, but it's like that's
no.
a version of it, and then Hawkeye is another version of it. So
Yeah,
like to me,
I
you
get
could have
you.
brought those together, but you kind of just like she was just like, take them out. You'd be better with it, and then they did nothing else with it. And I was just like, man. But I'm ready for her show though. I'm ready for her
Yeah.
show.
Actually, the way they use her prosthetic limb too, the way she actually uses it in combat, I'm like, y'all like took this character, you took the actress, you made it. So yeah, so for me, that's my number 5.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 is Ms. Marvel.
Nice.
We talked about it. I talked about it at length, why I loved it so much. I love the family dynamic. I love that it taught me about the partition. Even though those episodes were a little bit slower for me. And I enjoyed the acting throughout. I thought the chemistry through all the characters were good. And yeah, like I said, we kind of talked it to death, but yeah, that's why it's at my number 5. Keys?
Number 5, I've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Respect.
Big fan of, I grew up on martial arts cinema, and like I enjoy that culture. So seeing them really use it in this film, and getting to see that culture from that character being developed from the culture it's designed to be from, not just some Yahoo writing it over at Marvel. So it was really good. It was really again, a lot of family themes as always. The father and the son thing is always, I'm always a sucker for that. So yeah, I really like that movie a lot.
And I think they handled the whole Mandarin thing really well there, how they explained it out and kind of I honestly didn't mind the Trevor Slattery like in the
I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Iron Man 3, yeah. Like I mean, even in Iron Man 3, I like the twist of it and that he was.
I didn't like it in Iron Man 3, but I like it, and I like.
Zeus, I'm there with you. I'm one of. I don't know anybody else that likes Iron Man 3. I love Iron Man 3.
It.
So
I think it's such a character-driven movie.
It is. That's why I loved it. That's why I loved it.
Yeah, man. The panic attacks he goes through.
He grows so much in that film. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
if we don't have Iron Man 3, you don't get Iron Man in Endgame. I'm telling you that right now. It don't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that was, what did we just do?
That was my number 5.
We're on 4 now.
Oh yeah, because
my 5 was Eternals. Yeah, my 5 was Eternals.
So
yeah. My 4 is the Guardians of the Galaxy special.
Yeah.
And I just watched that today, but I cried. So if I cry, you make it in the top 5, baby. Like that's just what it is.
Everything
but I cried.
would be my top 5 then.
You know what I mean? But like I cried because like I didn't cry at everything, but like this one made me cry, and like the fact that I have it on camera is crazy. But like I'll see when I put that up. But I love this special. I love that it was like kind of weird to begin with, and then in the middle you kind of saw where it was going, and then towards the end, I am a sucker for brother-sister things because I have 3 brothers. One of my brothers passed away. It's been a year now. So like it really thank you. It really messed me up when he's like, that's the best Christmas present you can give me is like you telling me that you're my family. And it broke me, guys. And so like I was like, I had to cover my face. It was a whole thing. And I just thought it was fun. Everything doesn't have to be connected to the MCU in a way that it's like, oh my God, we saw this in Guardians of the Galaxy. It doesn't have to be that. Some things could just be fun. For me, this was just a fun thing that I enjoyed. You saw 2 marginalized characters in their own like kind of like setting, and you can never go wrong with Kevin Bacon. This thing.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with bacon. This is
no. Kevin Bacon. I don't eat pork or beef, so
I'm vegan, so I don't.
Yeah, that's the only bacon I recognize. It's Kevin Bacon.
Story time. Did you give us your 4?
No, Thor. To me, it's Thor. I really liked Thor. I thought it was a fun. Like I said, I love the comic book that it was based off of. I love the fact that they had diversity in this. That was the first time we've got like really big diversity with the gods. We see Lobochli, the Aztec god. There was the Day of the Dead goddess. There was all these gods and everything. We had Bast and everything. So to me, it was like really, really sick that we got all this stuff. Would I wish to see more? Of course. We're probably going to see more in the future. Who knows? Hopefully. The movie didn't do that good, so it might not. But to me, it's that we got this. My only complaint about that movie, because I thought it was fun. It was silly. It was Chris Hemsworth having fun. You could see that Taika and him maybe had too much fun. But he jumps off and rides his axe like a broom, like a witch. Like to me, I'm like, they're just having fun. This is them having fun. That's what I want to see, them having fun, because then they're going to stay and they're going to do more. And yeah, they should have got reeled back on a lot of things.
I was so mad about what
oh my God, I messed up my list so badly here. I'm looking at it here, and I don't know why I have it this way.
But to me, that's what I view Love and Thunder. My only complaint is that they didn't do what they said they were going to do. They promised that we were going to get a Valkyrie, that she was going to get a queen, and they totally threw that out the window. I can only assume that was because of Bob Chapek. So to me, I'm like, y'all shafted us. You literally said that she's going to get a queen. That was like the first news that got broke about that movie, and that was the first thing you threw out. To me, I'm like, screw you guys. You shouldn't have done that.
Well, Bob's gone now.
Yes, the big Bob's here, and the bad Bob's gone. Anyways, that's how I view it. We pretty much talked about everything, but that's why I love that movie.
All right, sorry. Let me just reiterate some of mine here. I'm sorry, I don't know why these got mixed up because I copied and pasted these. But my 10 was Ms. Marvel, 9 was WandaVision, 8 was Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is what people would have hated. Number 7 was Wakanda Forever.
Oh,
really?
Interesting.
Yeah. I liked the movie, but my problem was I went to go watch it in IMAX with my son, and the first half hour of that movie, we couldn't see a thing.
Oh,
we couldn't see a thing. It was so dark and filmed so. And I mean, I love what they were doing, and I loved the tag at the end. And if you're like me, you've been listening to the Black Panther podcast that they put on by Marvel with Ryan Coogler and Ta-Nehisi Coates, and T'Challa Jr. was always going to be part of it, which I'm down with. I like that a lot. What I really, and I'm running out of time here, I just want to put this out there, and we don't really have time to talk about it. But what I really hope is that we find out that Bucky also slept with Adora Milaje, and they have their own love child that is being raised by Nakia and with T'Challa that will be his White Wolf, just like in the comic book. His best friend brother, and those two grow up and they love each other, but they also hate each other and fight. I would love to see that because that's the only way we get the real White Wolf.
I feel like there's a possibility with that now. Like I feel like in a way that Wakanda Forever kind of like retconned their own universe in a way due to the death of Chadwick Boseman, which I felt like was the best thing that they could have done with what was going forward.
Yeah,
I didn't want another actor to play T'Challa. I didn't want that to happen. Like any of that. I think the course that they went was the best course. To me, my Wakanda Forever is my number one because I felt like when you pivot, when a character dies and your story has to pivot, to me, Wakanda Forever is the best that has done it when a character has pivoted. When a character has passed away and they have to pivot their storyline. I feel like this is a masterclass on how you can give respect to the actor, give respect to the character, and still move on with the rest of the characters that you have. So that's why Wakanda Forever is my number one.
And don't get me wrong, mine isn't an indictment to say that I didn't like it because I
no.
Yeah, this is no. Yeah, it's just I don't know why my ranking came up so wrong when I posted it on there. But yeah, that was my number 7. 6 was Shang-Chi, 5 Loki, 4 Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's where we're at right now is 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 is my Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I loved it. I loved Sarah and Bucky. I loved Bucky and the girl at the beginning. And I loved the struggle that he was going through, though, dealing with the fact that he had killed this guy's son. And then I loved everything that Sam and Sarah had to go through down south. And then he's like, no, I'm a celebrity. Don't worry. I'm going to get us this bank loan. And no, man, celebrity or not, your skin color is still the same.
You're still a black man. Nobody cares. But can I get your autograph, though?
Right. That's what I was feeling. So I was like, oh, my God, that's like every NFL owner.
But honestly, to me, it's real life. No matter, like, because you can be a billionaire and they'll still be like, oh, but you black.
Yeah, right.
But you like, but you're a minority, but you got color to your skin. Oh my God, like, but you black. But like to me, that's why I think a lot of people don't like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and that's because I be online and I read these things from these people. That's why I say a lot of people, because it is a lot of people. And I think the reason why they didn't like it was because it hit so close to something that people want to wash away so bad that they were like, I don't want to watch this. It was dumb, like keep politics out of comics, but it's like they always been in the comics.
Yeah, man. Like Captain America punching Hitler in the face back in the 40s. Shut up with that.
I'm
keep politics out of this. All right, that was my number 4. Has everybody else done a 4 yet?
My number 4 is also Falcon and Winter Soldier for a lot of the reasons La said, like just how it, that stuff's some heavy stuff, and it really took it on. It could have done better. I think Matt said, like they could have just been outward about it, but they weren't. But yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, as a black, at least as a black man in Canada, we when it comes to stuff like that, that's how we can be sometimes. Like we're just like, all right, we're going to tell you you're racist without coming straight out and being like, yo, you're racist.
Yeah.
Like it's like
It's easier to do that than to throw it in your face, because now if I throw it in your face, now you're mad and you're calling me stuff and now we're about to argue. But if I can slowly show you your bigotry in a different way, then like if I can slightly, a subtle way of doing it, it's different. Yeah.
And you gave us your 4, right, Law?
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep.
And Matt?
Yep, it was Thor.
All right, what's your 3?
Shang-Chi is number 3 for me.
Nice.
I think it was a wonderful film. The message between the father, it to me was like, that's how you do culture. When anyone says, well, why do we need this? The reason why we need Asian directors and Asian writers and Asian cast doing their movies is because they can do it better than anyone else. And we see that presented with the father-son dynamic. Man, all of my Asian friends were in tears over that final scene because everyone else was like, well, why didn't the father say he loved him? Oh, he did. He sobbed. He was shouting he loved his son. The way he knows how to tell his son that.
Yeah.
I was like, I have Asian friends. It's like, to me, it's like, that's how they show it. That is not, they're not loud people. They're not going to do these things. This is how they show up Asian, especially an old fashioned Asian father. Oh, this is love. This is true love so for me, I'm like, they presented this thing. They made it cool. Everyone could follow it. Everyone could love it. They had just enough cameos from the other movies. We had Abomination. We had Wong. We had a build up to the second to a sequel, to the future, to the end credit scenes, all this stuff. And at the same time, they still told a complete story. Yeah. They built up his sister to be a badass, but she didn't seal the show. His friend was there, but they didn't make her a love interest. She could be in the future. We don't know.
They did slightly.
But a little bit.
They did slightly, but they did it in a way that I want every movie to do.
Yeah.
The love interest thing.
Yeah, it was nice and slow. It was nice, and they took their time and everything. And if they get together, we can be like, yeah. If they don't get together, we can be like, okay, I understand.
They still besties.
Like they did it, and he punches a dragon, like a demon dragon. Like all I'm gonna like to me, it's like, and they not only that, they presented him in a way. He's to me like top 4 strongest characters in the MCU right now. He punched a demon god in the face.
Because those we don't know what the 10 rings are yet, though. Still,
no, we have no ideas. I think they're built outside of reality. I think there's some element of like the multiverse.
Yeah, or something coming from the universe.
I think the guy from Eternals made it. I think the guy from Eternals made it because they showed us that he already makes stuff a little ahead of its time. That he probably should he doesn't make things.
Well, they say it's not from this world or any world outside. The reason I say all this is because we're building up to the future. We're building up with like outside of the multiverse kind of things. We have the bangles and stuff, but I also think that the reason that this is outside the multiverse is because look at Miss America. There's only one Miss America. So I really wouldn't doubt if Shang-Chi is the only one in all of the multiverse with the 10 rings, and that the secret of how strong they are is just going to grow. And that to me, I
wouldn't be surprised if he's the only one with the 10 rings, but I still feel like it's Eternals based because those bracelets that they wear at the end are very slightly similar and like very close to like how he creates his.
And same with Miss Marvel's bangles as well.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I feel like they all exist outside of the multiverse.
Yeah.
But that's my number 3.
Just because I was supposed to leave half hour ago.
For sure.
So she'll be waiting. It's all good. Number 2s. What do you got for number 2, Matt?
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the to me the top 2 films of the year are Batman's up there, but for Marvel it's Spider-Man, which I love Spider-Man. I named my son Peter for God's sakes. Like I love Spider-Man. I love it. And at the same time, we got it. This is my movie. This is the millennial movie. This is my movie, man. Like we got Tobey Maguire. We got Andrew Garfield. They let Andrew Garfield get redeemed. They even brought up that he hated his movies, that nobody liked those movies. They brought it all up and they said, look, it's not your fault, Andrew. You did the best you could.
You're amazing. I think you're amazing.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, this is what we want. They brought everyone back. Are there plot holes? Oh, there's dozens of them. There's so much stuff that doesn't make any sense. Literally, anyone that knows your identity is going to know who is going to be brought to the thing. Electro didn't know who he was. In fact, Electro even says in the movie, "Oh, I thought you were black." Like it's not like it. There's plot holes. It doesn't matter. Rule of cool sets it up. Everything was awesome. Everyone's happy. And not only did they save the day, they did it in a Spider-Man way. He did it. He paid the ultimate sacrifice, and he saved everyone's life.
Except for
Spider-Man.
Except for Aunt May.
Yeah, well, but that's also Spider-Man.
Yep.
He's gonna
And
lose. He takes his hits, man.
Yep. And they mentioned that too, like how they all lost.
I mean, I'll just say technically, he said, "I thought you'd be black."
Yeah,
but,
I thought you'd be black. Yeah,
but that doesn't mean he thought he was black until that moment that they started talking. I think
true.
And
he
might
didn't know
have
his
known he
identity.
was
Is the
Peter
point
Parker.
because
Yeah,
he should have known he was Peter Parker.
He might have known his name as Peter
Maybe.
Parker. He just didn't know his skin color.
Yeah,
It's
a puddle.
No. He said no. I just say he just thought he'd be black. Even if he thought even if he knew he was white, you could still say like, I thought you was gonna be black. You were saving all these kids. You know what I mean? Like, you was all in these poor neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
But for me, it's the perfect Spider-Man movie, and it's a very similar message to Into the Spider-Verse, one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Yep.
And which is, to me, it's like anyone can
Maybe
be Spider-Man.
the best-
It shows
maybe
this
the best one.
cohesion. And they were finishing plot lines from other franchises, like the Amazing Spider-Man when he saved Mary Jane.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, like
That was great.
this movie really gave us everything we could want from a movie.
Ultimate fan service.
It was the ultimate like Spider-Man fanboy movie. And so to me, I'm like, I'm in love with it. Thank you to everyone involved.
Yep, I agree.
To me, it's not the best one, but it's damn good.
Wow, what's your number 2?
My number 3 was No Way Home. My number 2 is Shang-Chi.
Oh, nice. I like it.
So me and Matt's in like our top 3 are pretty much the same except for our 3 and 2. Our 3 and 2 is switched. But everything he said, like for me, I'll go real quick. Number 3, No Way Home. No Way Home is just like it's ultimate fan service. I enjoy seeing everybody back. I enjoy how they were let into the thing, and I enjoy the villains. I enjoy that we got like a more comic accurate Goblin. I love that he was in his original outfit. I love the fight scene between him and Peter.
In the hotel,
the fact,
right? So good.
The fact that he zoned in on that Peter to me is just like he was like, no. I'm a zone in on the one of this world. I'm gonna corrupt this one. This one needs to. He's younger. You know what I mean? These other ones are old. Like he focusing on this one. I love that Aunt May died. That was just that was a great scene.
And then she'd had the power and great
listen.
Line,
and she said the comic book accurate line, which I was trying to explain that to people, but everybody was like, right. She didn't say it like they said it, but like that was great. Shang-Chi for me, I'm always rep for minorities, and when it's done in such an amazing way, I'm a heavily rep for my minorities because it's just like it's a beautiful film. Visually, it's beautiful. It's a great storyline. If you not something to say, if you could take a father-son film, even though it's like a father-son, father-daughter type of film too, because let's not forget about his sister. She got like the back end of it. Like she wasn't as praised or as loved as Shang-Chi was and like or is essentially, because even when they got to Talo, like the mother goes to Shang-Chi and goes like, you look like your mother. And I was like, no, he don't. No, he does not. No, he doesn't. But like, I love that she's a badass in her own right, that she's just as skilled, and I would say even more skilled because she essentially taught herself just by watching. That means something. Cool. And Shang-Chi was just great, man. We saw like different characters. Like I love animals. I love that we got like a 9-tailed fox. I love that we got these different dragons and things like that. Like it was just beautiful, and I'm excited to see where Shang-Chi goes, as well as his friend. I forget her name. Even though I'm not really a big fan of Awkwafina like that. Like I'm, you know, you kind of take somebody's culture and you make a name out of it, and then you go back to your culture. I just be like, I'm like, all right, it's fine, it's okay, I guess. But she's recognized it. She's take note of it, but it's still kind of like, ugh. But I'm excited to see what goes on with them. I'm excited to see how he fits into the rest of this universe. And I'm excited to see what the sister does with the 10 rings, because towards the end of that, she was giving me villain vibes. And so I'm excited to see
her and Namor would be a power couple.
Honestly, she might be Shang-Chi's like anti-villain, because like you could tell that she isn't all the way bad, but it's just like the circumstances of her life has led her to this. And as I said before, Wakanda is my first one, so you don't have to,
Nice. All right, so we got your number 1, and we got your 3 and 2, Matt. We need your 3 and 2 keys.
Number 3 was Loki, because I think it's because I went into it like least anticipated, like I don't care, and it turned out to be something I really liked. So I think that's what maybe boosted it higher for me, is like, dang, I did not expect to like this as much as I did. I liked all the Loki variants, and the best part of that whole show was the introduction of, He Who Remains, or a variant of Kang. We got the big bad guy for like Phase 5, I assume. I thought Jonathan Majors, man, that's probably like one of my favorite performances. Like in
I was on the opposite spectrum with that, honestly.
I really liked him a lot.
That part just slowed me right the fuck down. And
I understand that.
the whole series, and I like it, and I like him as Kang. It was just for the pacing of that show, for it to end on no pace, it just felt anticlimactic.
Well, remember, they were outside of time, man. Of course, there was no pace.
No. That has nothing to do with
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You can't mess with me like this.
You about to like, no. Listen. Let me break it down for you.
No, this is just me trying to, as I'm trying to go fast.
Yeah, that's fine. And my number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home. I wrote that it was like the ice cream bar of MCU. You know, like you can have any topping you want. You can make this wonderful ice cream sundae with all of this awesome stuff. How could you not love that?
Yeah, it was so good. So good. Oh yeah, I guess me. 3 and 2. My 3 was Werewolf by Night. I don't know if this was just recency bias, but I really dug it. I would probably rank it lower after hearing Matt's
yeah, same here.
Talk about it. So, but I did really dig it. I love the acting, and I love the callback to the old Universal movies and stuff as well. And honestly, the one scene where he changes into the werewolf and we don't see it, we just see
the shadow, and she's like cowering. Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
Yeah, like like watching that as a cinephile or whatever, it was mwah. My number 2 is Hawkeye. I'm a Hawkeye stan. I don't really know what stan means, but I've always liked Hawkeye, especially since the Ultimate comic books and the Ultimate version of Hawkeye, who goes on to become Bullseye at one point. He kills Black Widow, who's super evil in the Ultimate comics. I really liked it, and I loved his camaraderie with Kate Bishop, with Haley Stansfield. I love Yelena and Kingpin. We talked about all that. So yeah, that's why it's my number 2. Let's go super quick with number 1s. I'll go with you first, Keys. What do you got for number 1?
I think we're all going to be a lot alike on this, but Wakanda Forever.
Except for Zeus.
Except for me.
Yeah. And I know
that, brother, I'm sorry.
Like, most people would probably say it's recency bias, but it's not.
It's not. Me neither,
I think that the way that the heavy subject matter that this movie takes on and does it well, and it does not hurt that it's probably like maybe the best director in the game right now in Ryan Coogler. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's up there, if not the best, although I'd say he probably is.
I think he gets the most freedom out of any director, though, at Marvel. Though.
Exactly. I know what you were saying earlier with not being able to see a lot on the screen in the IMAX. Like, there was a lot of dark moments where things went together. But other than that, man, Namor, the whole world building they did with all of that. I know people say Namor or Namor. I heard it both ways in the movie, so whatever.
It is both ways. Yeah.
Well,
it is both ways.
It's saying, like,
people call themselves Namor, and then everybody else calls them Namor.
It's like if you're Latino, it's like Abril. You could say Abril, you could say April. It's there's a right way and there's a not so right way, but really,
But I feel like there's a right way and then there's an American way. And but I feel like if the movie said both, we can say both. That's why that's how I feel. But
sure.
if you,
Right, and I loved the moving. I love Shuri. Like, I wasn't sure at first, but once we got there to the end, I was like, man, she is killing it. I'm loving this.
I loved her because she wasn't the same as T'Challa. She wasn't. Right. T'Challa was more like brute force, and I'm gonna come right to your face, and I'm gonna do this. And she was more strategic with how she did things, which made sense for her character. Yeah, I love that.
And seeing Killmonger as the ancestor for her
made sense.
And yet still,
more about her than it did about anything else. So.
Right.
It does,
But she still overcame that though in the end.
But did she though?
Yeah, I know, but like she could have went full Killmonger and just
I think she ends up being a villain in time. I think Wakanda becomes aligned.
They made the first move. If you want to talk details, they're the ones that struck first. They killed the first Talokan.
Yeah. And honestly, blame Nakia for that because she went in brute force and she didn't listen when Shuri was trying to tell her something. And I get it, you like Queen Mother was already fired, my girl Okoye, and she was trying to come in there, but like she was like, "Yo, listen to me, because this is like an act of war we just did, and nobody was listening to her."
For sure.
Like,
they made the first move. So and he warned them. Namor warned them. He's like, "Look, if you mess with me, if you come in my face,
it's gonna be done.
I'm going
to wipe you out."
So good.
But I will say this though, I feel like Shuri is a mixture of T'Challa and Killmonger. I feel like she's both of them.
And her own character, for sure.
but I meant like in terms of emotional weight. I feel like because of the revenge thing, that's why she saw Killmonger, because that's where her heart was. But she's a bit of her brother too when it comes to like, I gotta protect my people, but also like, you gonna get this work because like I need you to stop killing my people.
Yeah. No, for me, it's like I view the movie because I've seen it 4 times.
Oh wow!
So in theater, and one time I got to see it at a screening where there's a bunch of other content creators and everything, and it was like a big thing. We were shouting everything because the whole theater was ours. So that was an experience for me. But it was like this, and they also served African American and Mexican food. So there was black tortilla chips,
nice.
there was tacos, and there was like cauliflower, and there was wings. And I was like, y'all gave us the best damn food. Thank you.
I'm jelly, but go ahead.
That was you and Straw Hat, wasn't it?
Straw Hat's event. Yeah, so it was so shout out to Box Lunch and Cinemark Straw Hat. But no, for me it's like so as a superhero movie it's wonderful. And as a movie it's great. But as a Latino, this is the first time Hollywood has ever given us the 3 Latinos, the Afro Latinos, the Latino Latinos, and Indigenous Latinos. We've never got that on film. Not in The Heights, not in anything else. And In the Heights pretty much was the one before this that did the best. It's a movie where it shows that Latinos come in different colors, we come in different shades, we come in different backgrounds, that we're all Latino, and they specifically chose these ways to do this, to tell the story. And the fact that Ryan Coogler, who is not Latino, was able to hone in on this, and I don't know who he's in the room with that was Latino, that was like, this is how we do things. And so to me, it's like he nailed it to what it is to be Latinos. And there's so much intricacies. Like when France invaded in the first scene, he did that because when they go to Haiti later, France was the one in control of Haiti. Yeah. Haiti was the one that rose up. So it's this like kind of like it's a circle thing. And so really it's just the way he chose it, the way he did everything, the way he did Latinos in it, the way the casting was, the way the characters were presented, Namor, Namora, Atuma, everything, man. And as someone who loves, you watch my videos and everything, I love Aztec culture. I love Mesoamerican culture. I love Mayan mythology and everything. So for me to watch this and go, wow, they didn't get anything wrong. They did it right. Yes, Talocan is an Aztec mythology. It's not a Mayan mythology. But other than that, they did everything perfect. They did everything right. So for me, like, y'all did it as a historian, as a lover of mythology, as a lover of Latino representation. Yeah. Y'all did no wrong in this.
You can see the heart. You can see the work put in. You can tell the people really research. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They did it. And it's kind of upsetting because no one else at Marvel Studios was doing that. They didn't do it for War of My Night or anything else. So
for sure.
And even in Moon Knight, they got the wrong
show.
Like in Moon Knight, they used the wrong Aztec god of the moon.
But listen, they research more for their animations than they do for their live actions, and that says a lot.
But Black Panther, that's what I got to say about that. And I got to leave in like 2 minutes.
I got to leave right now. My number one is Spider-Man. Just for every reason we already talked about. It's just
makes
everything.
Sense.
It has everything in it that I wanted to see in a comic book movie. We got to see the meme. Right, and then I love they used Peter Tingle. All of them. Tingle. Nobody said Spider Sense. That was
like
cool.
that too.
I love they addressed the organic.
Yes.
And then where else does it come out from? Thank you.
My wife was so excited about that. She loved that. She's like, I wonder if they're going to talk about the organic.
For me, and I may be biased here.
Your wife sounds cool, by the way.
Tom Holland is the quintessential Spider-Man.
He is to me.
He is my Spider-Man.
He is mine too.
Yeah, that's what I've seen every time I read a comic book or seen a cartoon or anything else. This is the Spider-Man that I've always wanted. And MCU Phase 4. This is it's been a lot of ups and downs for people, but I've
enjoyed the ride, man.
Yeah, man.
It's a roller coaster. That's what a roller coaster is. It's ups and downs, man. We was on a roller coaster. It was
the fact that like 12 of these movies could switch the order pretty much goes good.
These rankings are fluid. Just like if anyone watches sports and watches First Take with Stephen A. Smith, the list is fluid. Our list is fluid.
And the more we kept getting to like our number ones, like our top 5s or top 10s or whatever, ours were overlapping. Like somebody's 6 will be my 5 or somebody's 4 will be my 3 or something like that. So this was great, man. This was great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming along, and let's do another ranking soon, or even just do another get together and talk about whatever's going on, man.
Hit me up whenever. Any of you guys, honestly, like any of you guys met. I know we just met, but like any of you guys, like
of course,
phone, you know how to contact me, Zeus. Like just if you guys ever want to do anything, let me know.
You know I do. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for doing this with me. Thank you to everybody that joined in and stuck in for our 3-hour fucking show.
Yeah,
we
marathon, baby.
My daughter's gonna kill me because it takes me a half an hour to get there, and I got to pick her up in 15 minutes.
I'll pray you. I'll
But
pray for you. I'll pray for you.
please pray for me. But
Yeah, pray for you.
again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
thanks for having
wanna
us.
say, of course, go follow Cell Phone over on Cell Phone Wallet Keys or on TikTok. He's the voice of CWK, and of
Thank
course on all the socials, Black Girl Marvel on everything.
Yeah.
That is La, and of course Matt, Storytime Guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh
On
yeah,
all
buddy.
social
You go
media.
follow him Instagram. You follow him on TikTok, or you follow him when he comes on the pod. Either way, I think we've all had a great time. And Greg, you got here just at the end, buddy. I know.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for showing up.
Normally I do my Rat GTV show at 6:00 on Saturday, so that's why he's tuning in.
Mhm.
No show for that tonight. We'll be back next week though with the Rat GTV, and maybe you'll see a couple of these guys make an appearance on Rat GTV to give you some updates on comics, movies, or just whatever else.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, from all these fine folks, from myself, Zeus, I hope you all had a great time here with High Atop Mount Olympus with your boy Zeus. We will see you all next time. Peace out.
Bye.